some Treylon Burks audio and all kinds of things.
Treylon.
He looked good, I heard.
Oh, the storyline is going to be squashed.
Everybody knows talking about it.
Now what are you going to talk about?
So out of shape Treylon Burks doesn't exist anymore.
Does not exist anymore. He looked quite in shape when I saw him and when we chatted with him. And I mean, we'll play his interview here in a little bit, but on top of it, took complete ownership for not being ready during OTAs. Good on you, Treylon Burks. He looked good. I mean, he didn't look like Ron Slay running down the field or anything, but you know.
The building. At all.
I've been diving into some college football, and I was listening to some strengths and weaknesses about certain teams, and hard to find weaknesses about Alabama. But one thing they said was a couple of defensive linemen under 300 pounds. I thought, man, Ron Slay could play defensive line for Alabama.
Yeah, I put my hand in the dirt. I put my hand in the dirt.
You won't for that team.
Without question. I wouldn't even practice for that team. They couldn't give me enough NIL money to come.
If I gave you $5 million with NIL money and you had to play 10 games for Alabama.
No.
Wow.
That gives you 2 games to not play, so you could not play against Tennessee if you didn't want to.
I wouldn't play for Alabama.
At all.
Ever. I wouldn't even wear. If somebody gave me that gear, I wouldn't wear it.
Would you Rashawn Golden them?
All day
Double
long.
bird in the end zone.
What? At restaurants and everything. It ain't even got to be at the game. I'm doing it all. Birds everywhere.
At the Cracker Barrel.
Man, what? No, yeah, man. Ain't no way, man. No. I can't do it. My skin. Listen, my skin has an allergic reaction when I get close to colors like that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to stay away from that. I'd rather not. But guess what?
What?
Tighten up! Car ain't got no roof. We here, baby.
Yep.
We are here.
I mean, training camp started yesterday, but they did the conditioning drills. Today was the first real day.
But you know what?
Don Davenport was out there.
And Babsy was out there in full effect.
Yeah.
First of all, shout out to Babsy. Coach Mack, who we just saw, was really, really, I know when we're going to get him on, and I'm going to figure out how proud of you he is. Because not only were you at training camp, but you out there doing DB drills a couple days ago. You know what I'm saying? Like you putting it all on the line, Babsy.
I'm making Coach Mack proud.
And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And guess what? Your asked me yesterday, what are you most excited about?
Yes.
And my thing was to see Treylon come back and shut everybody up.
He did.
He did.
For
and
now.
on the
competitors is what we want.
Real early in the 7-on-7 drills.
Babsy said for now.
He got behind Christian Fulton.
Yeah.
And caught a ball diving fully extended from Tannehill. So good to see that. And as Don said before the show, I'm sure he was glad to get that off his chest a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to. You got to.
Not to mention, it was of when I get distracted. So I didn't see the beginning of the play, so I didn't get to watch him off the line.
What distracted you?
I don't know. Somebody said something to me, and I turned around to answer him instead of ignoring and watching.
Usually it's one of us.
Yeah, squirrels. You let the squirrels take over, Babsy?
It was some other
squirrels took over on the practice field.
Took over, turned, and by the time I looked back, he was already basically, he already had Fulton beat.
Yeah.
And it was, and then made the catch right there.
Fulton's a guy.
Well, to be fair to Christian Fulton, though, he was probably a little bit surprised to see Treylon Burks run right by.
Hey, man. Guess what?
Oh, wait, this wasn't the look from OTAs. So he said, he's lost a little bit of weight, but
5-6 pounds.
5-6 pounds, which is interesting. 6 pounds is about what Big Jeffrey Simmons also talked to him today about what he said he's lost in the offseason. But basically, about what I took from Treylon was he just ran and ran and ran some more and ran and ran and ran some more and did a lot of conditioning to get himself into a position where he wouldn't have to worry about it here at camp. And he even talked about Coach Vrabel coming to him in the spring, during those workouts. In the summer during those workouts and saying, Just keep grinding, keep pushing, hang in there, and he wanted to do more. He just physically couldn't, which sounds very similar to what Sam Pittman said about him his sophomore year when he came in out of shape. So he looked good today, though. He did.
Able to learn from it. Able to
Make
learn
catches.
from it, bounce back.
Yeah. Ryan Tannehill talked about him and talked about, the trust factor and how big these little steps are for him to know he's there, to know that he's, we can rely on him, to know that he can bounce back, that he can trust him, all of that.
That's what I'm here for. Listen to me. Listen to me when I tell you this now, people. This is what I want you to know. I'm here for the D-O-G. You understand that? You understand that, y'all?
I understand.
I'm here for the D-O-G. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I was talking about it last year. A couple injuries took place, so I didn't get to see the dog and my guy Caleb Farley yet. But this guy right here, not only do he go out there and hurt himself, he take the DOGs with him. So it's all kind of DOG in him. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
What about the D-O-double-G?
And if you get the double G on it, that's why I gotta wait till the season. When he becomes the D-O-double-G.
What about the D-A-W-G?
No, that's Jeffrey.
So
that's Big Jeffrey Simmons. He's a dog.
So what you're saying is there are varying levels of dogs.
Yeah.
And some people aren't dogs.
No.
And they just can't. They don't have it in them.
Some of them soft as puppies. Some of them puppies.
Who was that Coastal Carolina coach that was talking about, like,
we
need some dogs. We don't need him.
He got fired.
We ain't looking for no little kitty cats. Them stay up there in Lexington. You can leave them right there, put a fence around them. Let them ride around and stay right there. But the dogs, Babsy, and you got, like you all said, it's different levels. Big Jeff is a ultimate dog. Like you put him in his own kennel.
Like a junkyard dog?
Yeah, he in his own kennel. Yeah, he don't need to be roaming around with nobody else. You don't need to put no other dogs in there because, you know what I mean? Then the alpha got to show who's who. Don't even do that.
Like the dog from Sandlot?
Yeah.
Remember that dog?
No.
Now this is what's gonna hurt. You just threw something out to hurt me. I told y'all I ain't never seen
it.
I know.
You know nothing about Wendy Peppercorn?
I've seen pieces.
Movie.
I've seen pieces. I feel ashamed too.
Hunk is.
He's distraught. I know. Hey, Hunk, I apologize.
I'm not even hurt. I'm like disgusted.
I've seen pieces of it, man.
You're killing me, Small.
I know.
I've seen that clip.
And that's what I'm saying. I've seen pieces of it. I apologize. You know what?
Nephew Sally says must watch movie.
I'm going to watch it, y'all. Mom got on me about 2 months ago about it, man. And then his wife, my sister-in-law, she got on me, man.
So when I say the dog at the Sandlot, you don't even know what I'm talking about.
I ain't got a clue.
Well, you will.
I ain't got a clue. Is that the little fat kid with the freckles?
Sick ball. He's in there.
See,
he's the you're killing me Smalls guy.
He's Smalls. I thought Smalls from Lean on Me.
No, Smalls is the new kid that moves into the cul-de-sac and joins the team.
Cul-de-sac.
I got to do better, and I'm gonna do better, y'all. If anybody I let down,
it's
I
football
apologize.
season. You're good.
We're talking about dogs and level of dogs. Do you have the Coastal Carolina clip? If y'all haven't heard this guy's no longer there, but this is one of the great sports sound bites of all time.
He wasn't a dog.
Trying to get our two boys ready to carry them to golf tournament for practice, right? 12 cats live across the road. Our door's open. Screen's broke. We need to get a new screen door, but the screen's broke. So you can come in through the screen, but you can't get back out of it. I turn and look, there's a little kitty cat in our kitchen. So I said, what are you doing in here, little kitty cat? By that time, the cat turns, tries to get back out. That screen won't go that way. Cat starts going, meow, all crazy. And I told our players, we need more dogs. Bo's barking in the back. I have to go shut Bo up. Mel's like, what's going on? I said, there's a cat in the house. Cat in the house? I said, yeah, there's a cat in the house. So I told our players, I tried to let it out the front door. Meow, meow, the cat's still going crazy in there. And I told our players, you need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here. Yeah, looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. Got my other shoes on. Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats.
No meows.
We need more dogs.
To your point.
Be a dog.
Hey, and I ain't never heard that.
They got some dogs on defense.
No, DAWG, like Babs has said.
So who are the dogs going to be on offense?
That's what we look.
Are we going to look to the tight end position, Babs? Because
Yes.
that is a safety blanket for Ryan
Yes,
Tannehill that he
indeed.
did not have last year.
Gotta have it though.
And I think that has been missing.
And you heard?
I feel
go ahead.
good
You
about
feel
it.
good about the TEs?
I mean, it's, okay, hold on. Let me
Training
walk
camp.
that back.
Training
It's not only is it training camp, it's one day. It was 90 minutes that Mike Vrabel cut short because he was like, 90 minutes to the point. Here you go. And we're done. So he was like, acclamation. That was the word he used. The very first start of his presser. 90 minutes, acclamation. Done.
Mhm.
So let me step back my I feel good. But I will say, between Austin Hooper and Chig Okonkwo, I always put a W in from where it shouldn't
This
be.
is cheek.
Okonkwo. Chig.
Mhm.
I think that they will, if it works out how it should with those two, they will have the ability to do more offensively than they did last year.
See, Slay and I appreciate your desire to walk something back because we're very careful with what we say.
Well,
Yeah.
at all times.
Yeah.
Very measured
Yeah.
with what we
you
say.
had to look up what walk back means.
We
in
play
the
chess.
dictionary.
Me and Yor play chess.
Yeah.
We play no checkers. It's measured.
But see, the beauty of our game is that a lot of people think we're playing checkers. So they can't even see the brilliance in the brilliance.
See, you, hey, boy, you my guy, boy. I'm talking about, I ain't even got to say nothing. Just put me on stage. You to be my ventriloquist, whichever one it is. You talk for me, y'all, because you said my thoughts right then.
Speaking of, when you were in Atlanta and you went to the restaurant, did you see Don Davenport's ventriloquist dummies?
I wanted him to be there so bad and eat
The
dinner
dummy
with me.
Don?
I wanted him to eat dinner with me so
we didn't.
bad.
We ended up not having time to go by the house, so he didn't get to see him.
Babsy has the most. That's why that wasn't gonna be the right way to say that.
See, walking back.
Walking back.
See,
She has the greatest brother on earth.
Dane,
I love
Yeah.
that.
he's a movie star.
I love that.
She hadn't seen any of his.
I
movies.
forgot I ain't even get to take my picture.
Oh, you didn't get to take your picture with him. That's right. Yeah, my brother he's the coolest. He really is. Like he
I'm
doesn't
hot
have
about that.
he doesn't have an enemy. People love him.
That was a whole time.
He was in Hidden Figures.
That's why I wanted to take your picture. I
Oh,
wanted to show
yeah.
Chris.
Which-
Chris loves that
I don't
movie.
think
Yeah.
Davenport's
Oh,
even seen it.
Babsy?
I haven't seen it yet.
Babsy distracted me.
It's an amazing film.
I did watch his
Um,
the thing about Pam that he was in.
What was the thing about Pam?
She's crazy.
That's wait. There's a crazy woman walking around out there
Named Pam.
named Pam. Sorry, all the Pams out there. I'm sure you're not crazy. Coach Max coming in the studio. We're going to talk about the Titans next. See, walking back on 104.5 The Zone.
Oh yeah, Ron Slay loves that. 615-737-1045. By the way, for All Natural Healthcare, Coach Mac just walked in the room. By the way, if you can't tell, All Natural Healthcare, non-pharmaceutical options. LT360 is who you need to call. They deliver answers. They deliver results, and LT360 teaches you how to live your best life. They teach you how to reverse and prevent disease, overcome high cholesterol. Maybe you're tired, you deal with fatigue, you can't sleep at night. They go through that. Obesity, stress, anxiety, all of it, so that you can be present and live your best life. It's cellular health transformation is how they brand it here, and they will discuss weight loss techniques with you, health management, and how to get off medications. They provide you your own coach. I have loved my experiences with LT360, and here's the deal. Their entire goal is to help people and help you. They want you to be healthier. They want you to have more energy. They want you to live life to the fullest. And that's what I've found in my time I've spent with the wonderful people at LT360. You can do the same. Lean on a community that is over 8,000 strong across 29 different states. LT360health.com is the website for you. And the phone number, if you want to call, get a free consultation from them at 615-815-0390. That's LT360 at 815-0390.
I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Banks are great for car loans, but when you need a home loan, you need an expert. We'll get you pre-approved the day you call in, lower rates, and with our 21-day closing guarantee, you'll be in your dream home in weeks.
Sounds tickets coming up. Stay tuned.
Whoa, Sounds tickets for tonight?
Yes.
Why have I been summoned?
Yes, just to
Ridicule.
and pay attention to what's going on tonight.
You've been replaced as the first pitch guy.
What?
By Joe Hunk. Joe Hunk is throwing the first
Wait
pitch.
a minute. Wait a minute, Hunk.
How's it going?
What's up? Coach Mack is in the studio.
Here's a huge difference between Joe Hunk and Ron Slay.
Talk to him, Coach Mack. Tell him.
Well, Ron Slay told the whole free world about it for about a month.
That's right.
About what he was going to do. Joe Hunk has not said a word yet.
Yes. See, I needed to put people on notice, Mac. I needed people. Listen,
Ron,
when I walk out there, they don't notice.
Ron, look, you know I'm all in your corner.
Right.
I was from the start.
I do know that.
I took the hits with you. When whatever you did, you did. But Joe Hunk, I know, will get it across the plate. Now, I'm a little nervous because I watched Joe Hunk bowl, and the bowling technique that I saw,
Uh-oh.
that ball was spinning from the top of the throw. It got to the middle of the lane before it hit the ground. And then it was still spinning like a Duncan top.
Flintstone style.
There's a softball pitch out there.
He's not lying, man.
See, Joe Hunt, like we were out of town, so we didn't get a chance to go to Buck's great event for charity. And so Joe Hunt was there. And the video I saw, he's one of these guys that doesn't put his fingers in the holes.
No. Joe Hunt, we had Batesy was there on that lane with us.
Oh, God.
And of course, Batesy's got. He's Batesy.
A little wild thing.
Waiting for you to describe that.
He was standing there with me. He was standing there with me, and we were looking. And when Joe Hunt went through that, Batesy looked at me and went, "Coach Mack, what was that?" I went, "That's Joe Hunt." That was a lot of fun. That was a great event, by the way.
Yep. So how are you going to throw the first pitch? You going straight overhand? You going side out? You going to drop down?
I'm not doing the same thing that I did for bowling. I know that's for sure, because that was a disaster.
You going to throw a deuce up there?
Yeah, no, that's my problem. I can't let it spin, so I'm going four seam.
Four seam.
Yeah, I'm going four seam
So there should be no movement at all.
Exactly. If I go two
Great
seam, it dips left to right.
Joe,
So you got to go four.
Joe.
Yes, sir.
I just bragged on you. And all of a sudden, you're going into four seams and stuff.
Do you think he's overthinking this?
Just don't talk about it. Just get out there and throw it across the plate.
Just do better than Ron Slay.
No,
Otherwise, we're destroying you.
Which I love, Ron, but that's not.
You love Ron Butt.
That's not.
It's
hard.
not hard
What ain't hard?
to do better than you did.
Listen, listen, I'm a man of the people. So listen, I want people to be able to strive for greatness.
Yeah.
So if I got to set the ball low for people to go high, hey, I'm all for it. I'm a team player.
So you're the barometer.
Yeah,
You're the first pitch barometer.
Let me say this though, real quick, and we're gonna get to Coach Mack. I've been peeping people and checking them out because they keep tagging me when they go out there and throw the first pitch. Keep on putting me on Twitter. What y'all doing? Y'all ain't throwing from the bump. I'm throwing from the bump.
That's right.
See, them people in front of the bump, they ain't even getting no dirt on their shoe. Babs, you got something to talk about because I saw you.
Randy Wilmore from Farm Bureau Health Plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He threw out the first pitch. And before he did, he hit me up, Coach Mack. See if I do better on the play.
Listen, man. You got Coach Mack, you know this, man. Just training camp is here. Training camp is here, Coach Mack. You know that you got to have the vets come out there and set the ball. And then if you surpass them, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to run off the guys like Treylon Burks and Caleb Fall and guys like that.
Then we'll get to training camp, which Dawn and I were at today, which was a really good start.
Right.
You had everybody in this city pulling for you.
There you go.
Everybody.
There you
And
go.
when you weren't successful,
Yeah.
everybody's still pulling for you. That's
what
all
it's
that
about.
counts.
That's what it's about, Coach Mack. You know what I mean? Motivational speaking without speaking.
Without speaking.
So was Treylon Burks that guy? I'm so glad that we can talk about in shape Treylon Burks now.
Yes.
And just forget about the rest of it.
Dawn and I are standing there, and I'm looking at her, and I'm going, Dawn, this is the quintessential example.
Keep your powder dry.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
You've been screaming it,
This
Coach
is
Mack.
the first thing I said, and I said, just everybody slow down.
Okay, now that being said, he even admitted afterwards,
No,
like,
he was
I
out of
couldn't
shape.
get through it.
Mhm.
Yes,
He was out of shape.
Yeah,
He was out of shape, but it wasn't like the guy was a bust.
Right.
I mean, just, I've done this a minute or two. I've had really good players come in and fall out in the conditioning test. I can remember when
we had Albert Hainsworth on yesterday. He was probably one of them, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you he was.
He did.
Is
Yeah,
it?
he'll admit it.
Yeah,
He was
he'll-
kind of mad about the Washington conditioning test. He went down that road.
Yeah,
yeah. So
that was a different
But-
staff.
But I'm talking about as rookies. As rookies.
Yeah,
rookies,
yeah.
brand new. I mean, I can just start naming them, that come in and fall out in that. But it shows two things. First of all, when he sat down and talked with various people, which he did, because everybody talks, you talk to all your players one-on-one before they leave after that. He took to heart what they said. He went out and ran and got in condition. And I told Dawn today, I said, you see the difference? I mean, what did he say? He lost 5 or 6 pounds, but he was slicked up.
Right.
He looked different. And then when he started the first couple of routes that he ran, when he dropped his weight and made a cut, I went, okay, that's it. And then he made that first. Then they go to team, and he lines up and gets pressed, in the team route and does a chop club move on the corner and gets right past him and is gone. And Tannehill lays out a shot that extends him. I mean, and the dude just ran it down and laid out. He's an athlete. He's an athlete, and he's got a lot to learn. He's got a lot to learn. But today, everybody got a look at what you saw on tape as to why you would want him on your squad.
Speaking of wide receivers, how much did the head coach said this today, that NWI and Bobby Trees can play all three wide receiver positions? How much does that help
A lot.
the offense?
A lot.
That you do have versatile guys.
But those
like
are
that.
veteran players.
Mhm.
You don't do that to rookie players because they need to learn a spot and then they'll learn another spot. But to have vets that can do that, it makes a big difference for this reason. Once you become a multiple formation team, you know, the difference between being an X and a Z receiver fundamentally is a Z receiver's off the line of scrimmage and can move, X receiver's on the line of scrimmage. But if you have guys that can do multiple things where you can stack them, you know, and they can shift, you know, and move back and forth and do those things, then it makes a lot of difference. But those are veteran players. Both of those guys that you mentioned are veteran players. You know, Bobby Trees has been that guy at a high level, you know, for a really, really good offense. And so Treylon Burks has still got a lot to learn, but I was so happy that happened today, not only for him, but for everybody else, just to see that, you know, this is a dude that's going to be somebody worth watching.
Yeah. So you mentioned Robert Woods. Vrabel's funny today afterwards. He was like, I don't care if he has a knee brace on or not, whatever. But he did not even have a knee brace on.
Right.
This is the first time that I've seen him, you know, really move on the field. Saw no hesitation, nothing like that. What did you see from him as he comes back from that knee?
You know, in the latter part of the OTAs, he had no brace on either.
Yeah.
So I was watching him, you know, during that time and when he would shed the brace. And at times he would come out there with it to warm up, and then he'd shed it during this. So that didn't surprise me. And so to me, what that tells me is not only does he have faith in the stability of it, but that he doesn't, because most of those guys that have ACL problems, the first thing they have to do is get comfortable with it. And that all the brace does is give you mental and emotional security as far as it moving. Okay. Yeah. And if you've got that, well then, and so to me, he's overcome that. And that's very important. That's been happening towards the latter part of the OTAs. Yeah.
That's the biggest hurdle every time.
I mean, you said after your ACL, I'm not going out there with this brace on. I'm not going to do it.
No, I don't want the opponents to see that, because the first thing I think they would look and say, he's a little weak. And I ain't showing no sign of weakness. Nope. And mentally, you got to get over that. Yep. Once you get over that and you get the attitude of, hey, man, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, then you go out there and you just go and play, man. You know what I mean? But listen to you talk, Coach Mack, about Treylon Burks. That brought me back to OTAs and thinking, you know, it was my first time walking through OTAs and really watching it.
Right.
You don't know what you don't know for these guys walking into the situation. So, and that's what OTAs is for them to get acclimated to, this is how it's going to be. I remember you kept on saying, this is just a crash course for these guys to understand when they walk back in the training camp, we're going with this, and this. And this played out. So we're supposed to see something different from a guy like him.
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's a lot like you do, you know, with your children. A lot of times you can tell them, look, don't do this. Here's what you need to do. But they've got to sometimes do the don't. And then you can sit them down and say, okay, do you see why?
Right.
Now, here's what you need to do. And that's exactly what you do. Once the rookies come in and understand physically what it's going to take to play in the National Football League, to practice in the National Football League, not play, to practice day after day after day, and the type of condition you have to be in to start and be able to do that, then once, you know, if it happens to one or two or three of them, and all of a sudden they can't make it through and they realize, if I can't make it through a practice, I'll never get to play. Then they start to run and they start to get in condition because, you know, they're really good athletes.
Yeah.
And all they got to do is put the time in on it, and he did. And so that made me happy. Yeah. And what he needs to do is continue that, because now the grind starts.
Yeah.
Today everybody was feeling good, you know, still no pads on, but the grind is going to start. But at least today, hopefully he can start to stack days as a young player, stack days, because you start stacking days, then you've got a chance to start progressing towards something.
Yeah. Love that.
Let's talk about the tight ends.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring
Chig
up.
and Austin Hooper. This is something that she talked about
she's right.
off air before the show, and that's that was a concern last year. And Tannehill, if you watch him over the course of his career, he loves to utilize the tight end position, and didn't, for various reasons, just didn't have that opportunity consistently last year. What do you see from these guys? I know it's day one. I'm just talking in general terms about the position.
No, I've been watching them all OTAs too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's been a point of my focus, these OTAs. And let me just say this, and this is to denigrate nobody. They did not have a number one tight end last year.
right.
They really didn't. And so that limits your attack as to what you can do. Anthony Ferkser was a really good second tight end because he could split out, he could move, but once he had to be the guy, there's a difference. There's a difference in the load you have to take, and we just didn't have that. Now what they have is they have three guys that are very separate in their skill sets, but they all can blend together because they can all block, they can all run certain routes, okay, and then they can all play in there at the same time together. And and so you talk about Hooper, you talk about Chig, and you talk about Swaim. They've all got ability to be able to play in a 13 personnel group, but make it look like 12 or make it look like 11 and still be able to run your offense out of it.
To hit the new listeners, 12, 13. Explain that real quick.
And the old listeners like me, because help me, Coach Mac.
Well, you're not old. You're not old. You're not a listener.
I'm older than you.
You're not a listener. You're the dude.
Yeah, okay. The dude.
Again, this is something that is that'll make your watching NFL football a lot more fun for you because everything. This is for our listeners. Everything is a matchup in the National Football League. Every time that you see people going in, people coming out, you wonder why they're changing because they're trying to match personnel. An easy way for a defense. It's all for defensive people.
Yeah.
The defense is who has to match personnel. So you name the personnel. There's only 5 eligible receivers in every NFL set.
Right.
There's 5 eligible. And so you name it off. You go by running back, you go running back, tight end, wide receiver. And you leave the wide receivers off. You go running back, tight end. So whatever you say, the first 2 numbers. So I say it's 21 personnel. So that's 2 running backs, 1 tight end. Okay. How many receivers are there? 2 running backs, I'm adding to 5. 2 and 1's what? 3?
Yep.
How many wide receivers are there?
You got 2.
That's all you got to say. So I'm saying, so you're my defensive coordinator, and I say, Ron, they got 21 in the game. So right now they've got 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 2 wide receivers. I'm going to match my personnel with them. Okay. If I say 12, then I've got 1 running back, 2 tight ends. How many receivers?
3.
No, just don't do that to me.
You got 2
You have limited time on the sideline to get this in.
Look.
That Tennessee math, that'll get you, man. That Vols math.
I don't have time for this.
I'm sorry, Coach.
I tell my rookies, look, I told my rookies, you got to count to 5 and don't waste my time because when you can't count to 5, you're taking my money.
3.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm sorry, Coach.
It's better to sit there and say nothing than to say dumb.
Right.
Okay, just don't.
Just say dumb.
I apologize, Coach. You got 2, Coach.
22
you got 2.
personnel, Slay. 22.
You got
How
2
many
running backs and you got 2 tight ends. You got 1 receiver. Let's go, baby. Put me on the game.
There it is. You got a little bit of dose of Coach Mac coaching.
I
Right there.
love it, Coach.
Hey,
See,
sometimes
that's
a
what I
pro
want.
phone, you were the 1 receiver.
Hey, man, listen. When you put me in that film room, baby, that's why I thrive in there.
13. I say, hey, Ron, they got 13
You got
in there.
1 running back and you got 3 tight ends. You got 1 receiver.
Oh, see. God,
Let's get some work done, Coach. Let's get some work done, Coach.
Actually, you were in the 2 tight end set, right? Like it was you and John Henderson were the 2 tight ends.
Jeez,
Yeah, and I was
Think about that.
and I was a decoy.
In high school?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And I was a decoy, and Big
Look at
John
this
should have
little
been the decoy.
5'2" DBs trying
No,
to.
I know him and I know Henderson. That's not fair. That was not fair.
Hey,
Did y'all
hey,
lose
hey.
a game?
No.
How could you?
No,
I mean, seriously,
No.
it was like when I used to watch Eric Dickerson play at Sealy, Texas. It was
Yeah.
not fair.
Although
Those little-
Slay at one
those little
point took it
kids-
to the house, right?
I led the state, Coach Mack, in receiving for 3 weeks.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Who wants to
Just
tackle
saying,
you?
you know what I mean?
Till he quit because he didn't like contact.
Well, I actually broke my wrist, Babsy.
Oh, so that's why you didn't like contact.
Yeah. You see? You know what I
Okay,
mean? So,
see, you got to tell us the whole story
sometimes the story
because
ain't
I've
needed,
just
though.
been ragging on you
I
not liking contact.
like their part though.
I like that.
Yeah,
part of it.
Like he quit baseball
good
because he didn't
stuff.
want to see a fastball.
Now I can stand in the box. Now
Yeah.
that contact I don't like.
Yeah.
I ain't standing in that box.
That is so dumb.
No, it ain't. That ball come fast.
Coach
But
Mack,
anyway, that's the personnel groups.
Okay.
And when you see those matchups, that's what you're looking at. And so when I talk about that during my broadcast all the time,
Yeah.
I'm trying to paint a picture of what's going on the field, because as a defensive coach, you have to wait to know what's in the game so that you can match up your base, your nickel, your dime,
Yeah.
your big nickel,
See,
whatever you're doing. Those types of things are just, really football is not hard.
yeah.
It's detailed.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are some little details that you can learn. But anyway, those tight ends that we started talking about, they give them the ability to use some of those things now, because you can have 3 tight ends in the game, but make it look like 21, one of them being a fullback,
Mm-hmm.
make it look like 12, split out, and one of
Right.
them still, can be a receiver that's moved out. Chig, to me, is that guy that can remove out, and Hooper can move out too,
Yeah.
so
yeah, I saw a little bit of that.
now he's and they're all kind of different physically. Chig's a thicker, faster guy. I mean, he was a 4.51 at the combine, ran the fastest time of any tight ends in this draft class. Hooper's a big, long target, and Swaim is just a big body, big
Yeah.
body dude that if you're going to throw it to him, he's going to be able to body people out. But he's a heavy head and hand on the end to block. So anyway,
With Eddie, we talked to Eddie George yesterday. Had
Coach
Was that-
Eddie George.
Coach Eddie George. That's right. And he was talking about the tight end spot. And I asked him about the offensive line. Me and Yorl have been talking about that's the glaring problem for us. I asked him, what do you see when you get in the backfield, and how comfortable are you once you see your line of scrimmage, but knowing you got to patch places, with
Mhm.
guys that have not
Some
been
new
there.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, as long as you got that center, you can kind of
Well,
you kind of fill in other spots.
see-
If you got 3 of the 5, you'll be all right.
Eddie's right. And the reason he's right is this, and especially in an outside zone or an inside zone offense, especially in that, because those combo blocks that you make, you don't necessarily have to block everybody. You have to shield them so that you can make a cut off of it.
Mhm.
And Eddie George is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Now, he did it a lot from the I formation
Right.
as to where he had a fullback in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
But still, that he's 100% right.
What happens though if some of those 3 weren't what they maybe could be at that
Mhm.
position?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
You can't sugarcoat it with Coach Mack. You can keep
No,
your powder on and talk to him,
he's
Babs.
like, well, as
Talk
long
to
as
him.
you've got your 3 out of
Mm-hmm.
5 that are familiar,
Right.
but what if one of those 3 was
Question mark.
was a
Struggling
question mark,
and-
was
yeah.
struggling, was
So meaning you
so
got
have the
Brewer,
familiarity,
Brewers a
but
question mark, Raidens a question mark.
right,
Well, those are the
But you
those
got
are,
Ben and
those are the
Lawan.
2 new spots.
new guys, yeah.
Yeah, those are the 2 new
Like,
spots.
Yeah, and you look at Lawan. I thought he came on towards the end of the year.
Mhm.
Well, he's another ACL guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's another ACL guy that probably because I think I can't talk for Taylor Lewan. He can talk for himself.
No, he's
But
on
you can
social
talk-
media.
Yeah, he is.
Well, no,
but you
but-
can talk about what you saw.
Well, I mean,
Damn it.
just knowing players that I've been around for 37 years in this league is that first of all, he's coming back off an injury, then he gets suspended, and then so he's and plus, I mean, he's supposed to be one of the dudes, so he's feeling a little bit of pressure to get
Mhm.
back out there and do it.
Yeah.
And so no matter how talented they are, if they're hurt, they're hurt, and so. To me, he got healthier as the year went on, and now to me, he looks really healthy.
Yeah.
He looks really healthy to me. So that's what you've got to go on.
Well, people forget too, when you're suspended, you're not allowed in the facility, so you
Right.
can't utilize weight room.
Well, and this, and I don't want to interrupt you, but I did. You're suspended during the season.
Right.
You're suspended when you're playing. When everybody else is starting to get in gear,
Uh-huh.
you're sitting idle.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden you come back in and the team needs you because you're the dude and you have to jump back in full speed. I mean, it just
They've been
doesn't
rolling.
work like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All the cars have been rolling around the track, and you're in the pits.
That you're in the pits.
Mhm.
And it takes a while to get the wheels right.
So, are you and Rhett Bryan going to be doing Titans radio shows this year?
You talking about Mac Talk?
Yeah, talk.
I got a partner that call in there all the time.
You know what? I remember that. You did. You had a dude call in.
Mm-hmm.
Very enthusiastic.
Do we need to wait on that?
No, I think, well, Mac Talk's been pretty popular.
Yes, that.
People
Especially
asking
with,
about it too.
Was it Shaquille Sunflower?
No, I think it was Mr. Enthusiastic.
Mr.
Yep.
Enthusiastic.
Mr. Enthusiastic. I really liked that dude.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Good energy.
Yeah, he knew a lot about the game too.
Yeah.
Sometimes he got so worked up I couldn't understand what he was saying.
Hey.
Well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of Mr. Enthusiastic. You don't have to understand what he says. You have to feel what he's saying.
Talk to him, man.
All right. More on Mac Talk later. Thank you, Coach.
This is great being in studio with you guys.
I love this, man.
I know. I like seeing you face to face.
I just learned what Babsy knew. Now I see why Babsy was so excited when she was talking to you last year when she was saying 21 and 12 and all. Now I know what's going on, Coach Mac.
She asked and she learned out there, and I enjoyed being out there with her today. She watches ball practice to watch ball practice.
Learned how to count to 5.
Yeah. Well, we learned how
Without
to
a
count,
whiteboard.
Learn how to count to 5. You did it once right, once wrong. So that's not too bad. Count to 5.
The whole 500.
50%.
Coach Mac, remember the bar.
No, the bar.
Just remember where the bar is.
He's a man of the people.
Coach Mac, presented by
people.
Farm Bureau
See
Health
ya.
Plans. Need great health care coverage at an affordable price tag. Let Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it. They've been protecting Tennesseans for 75 years. Your chance to win. Sounds tickets. You can see Joe Hunt go the first pitch. That's coming up next.
What do you do now when you walk into a home, a living room? Now, you got me. You coming to recruit me.
Yeah.
You got me. I'm the oldest of 13. I got my mama there, single parent home, my grandmama there. You know what I mean? We probably got some in there cooking in the kitchen. We probably get you some noodles. We ain't got much to get. You know what I mean? So we get some noodles. You know, some ramen noodles. They like to say ramen.
It's ramen.
It's
ramen.
It's
Come on, hype.
It's ramen.
Come on, this is the
Thank
boom
you,
boom room. These are
Coach.
my rules.
Yeah, but
I
get to be real, right?
This is gonna be the only time I'm gonna say, okay, we got some ramen noodles in there cooking.
There you go.
We're gonna go with the chicken
Thank you,
flavor and the
Coach.
beef. That's what you're gonna pick. You sit down on the couch, you talking to my parents, man. What are you gonna sell me on?
You know what's crazy is that most of the recruiting now, like you're not selling once you get in the house. Like you've already had them on campus like a handful of times.
Right.
The recruiting cycle is so different than it used to be.
Right.
But what are we going to sell, man? We sell personal and professional development, like the opportunity to grow as a human being and like the realness of what it's going to look like inside of our building. Like what are your goals, dreams, and aspirations? How does Tennessee football, non-football, but the University of Tennessee help you go achieve those goals and dreams, and how do you fit into the culture? And you know, to me, those are unbelievable opportunities to sell, right?
Love
like
that.
they come to game day, like they've all come to game day.
Yeah.
Like that sells itself.
Yeah, it
That's
does.
college athletics as good as it gets
Without
anywhere
question.
in the country. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
As a competitor in the league, when I came, it's one of 2 or 3 spots that I've ever gone out early for warm-ups. But driving up, seeing Vol Navy, driving into that stadium, I was like, I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah, I got the experience.
There ain't nothing
Yeah.
better, man.
At
And now
all.
getting a chance, and I'm going to be honest,
Yeah,
right?
because you ain't got no choice.
I was a skeptic of Vol Walk.
Hey,
Like
you
it
was
can't
what?
really, it can't
There have been
really,
other coaches that have said that,
it can't really be like that.
Yeah. What was the feeling?
There is nothing like it. And I can't tell you what my son said as he
Yeah.
was walking by.
Chills all the way through.
Yeah, man, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's serious.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Let's get away from the coach. Let's get away from the competitor. Let's get away from all of that. Let's get away from the team. You got 2 days. We got 2 days. We're going to snap our finger. You can take me anywhere with you. Where would you like to go anywhere in the world? We're going to have a
Anywhere in
good
the
time.
world?
Yeah, we're going to have a good. It's just me and you.
I'm
We got
going
48
over,
hours.
I'm going overseas. We're getting on your jet.
Hey.
Going overseas.
You can snap your finger. We got a jet in the boom boom room. That's right. I like that. Yep.
I mean, we're going Italy and Greece, man. Checking it out. Let's go.
See, he know them my stomping grounds. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
yes,
We're
he
going to have a
does.
good time over there.
Did his research.
Yeah, you better know it. So, all right, last thing. Josh Heupel, the hype train. When them fans are going bananas and you coming out of there running out the tee, you got the lights going crazy. You got the fireworks
Boy,
going on.
let me tell you, when the lights go off and it's all
serious.
orange.
Yeah, it's serious. It's serious.
sweet.
That
is
Ole Miss,
sweet.
That Ole Miss pregame thing
man,
was
That's sweet.
unbelievable.
I did everything in my
So
power
was that
not to
Ole
run
Miss
down on
postgame
the
thing.
field because I didn't want to be put out the game. But, I probably would talk to somebody. But this is what I'm asking you. Have you ever ran through there with the energy? I mean, it's going. And said, hey, man, you can't trip and fall. Did you ever think you would trip and fall running through the tee?
Boy, I've never thought that way ever in my life.
And now,
thanks, Slay.
No, I know, because guess what?
when they play Ball State, he's going to be like, damn, Slay.
This was my fear. Like, when I was a player, they let us go through the tee one time, and I was out the whole time saying, hey, man, what if somebody fall? And a player, I ain't going to say the name, one of our basketball players,
He slipped
and
He
fell.
wasn't ready for all
He
that.
wasn't ready. It was too much energy for him.
He
know
could
what I'm
handle
saying?
21,000.
No,
Couldn't handle 100.
So we take it light on you, man. We take it light on you, Hyper. Let me ask you this. 2-minute drill. Going down the field. You start at the 10-yard line.
Okay.
Got to win this game.
Yeah.
Got to go score a touchdown. You're looking at your team.
Yeah.
You got young Hype right there. National championship Hype.
Yeah, he's running the offense.
He running offense.
Okay.
And you got Hendon right there.
Yeah.
Which one you telling, hey, man, go win us this game?
Hendon Hooker. No
Without
doubt.
question.
Yeah.
Why?
He's got better coaching.
Oh my gosh, you just nailed that. Look at that. It just feels cooler because when the sun went behind the clouds, there was a little bit of a breeze, so it felt cooler. But yes, it
feels like 106 right now.
Okay, it's not cooler yet. I'm going to backtrack that.
89 tomorrow, 82 Friday, 83 Saturday, lows in the low 70s.
Oh, listen, hey, man, shirt off. Take your shirt off.
You know what that is? That's football weather.
That is.
In the South.
Yeah, it is.
And that's bourbon and cigar weather.
Oh, that is back porch all day.
Well, next weekend, though, 96, 96, 94. So there you go. Back to your original point, Slay. Good job. By the way, the ghost is back, turning the lights on and off in the studio. That's good. Do we need to name the zone ghost?
No, we just need to leave her alone.
Why is it a her? How do you
That's all I
know?
was gonna
I
say.
ain't gotten that personal with her yet.
I feel like all ghosts are hers.
Oh, really?
She.
Dudes just go hide in there. It goes again. Dudes just go hide in the corner. But like the females want to like affect people.
Yeah.
That's probably about right.
You said
That's
it.
probably accurate.
By
By the way,
yeah, go ahead.
just real quick, cool Teresa Walker with the Associated Press.
Cool Teresa.
Yes, she's the best. But cool moment after practice today. So she got all of the females after Titans camp practice, all the females together that were covering or worked for the Titans for a little group picture. We put it out on social media too, but it was very cool because I got back to thinking. At first I was talking to Teresa and I was like, there was a long time where you were the only female out here. And she was like, long time.
Yeah.
You know, because she's been.
Queen.
I mean, she's in the Hall of Fame. Like, she's been in this business forever.
HOF.
And I was thinking back to 2008, and that was my first year here. I think 07, 08, somewhere around there. And it was just me and basically Teresa out there. There was maybe, you know, a couple others at most. There was, you know, 3 or 4 of us. And now you see that group picture, and there's, you know, super young females who are covering the Titans. They're, you know, you kind of go all through the age group. So it was kind of cool to see just like the evolution of even employees for the Titans as their staff has grown. And it was very cool. So cool thing by Teresa to do that. And she, of course, she's like, I feel like these are my little ducklings, you know. She's like paved the way for everybody. So,
Teresa, diehard
cool.
Cubs fan, and Cubs fans are kind of in a spot now. They're actually playing well, but they're going to be sellers. So they're going to, you know, Ian Happ and some of these guys are going to go, but they're going to get prospects, and it's fun to watch.
Oh, you just trying to make her feel better?
No, yeah. I mean, well, my middle kid's a big Cubs fan too.
So
We sat down low one time, and he was done. So he was talking to all the players in the batter's box and all this. And so David Ross gave him a ball, like caught a third strike, and instead of throwing it back out to the mound or into the dugout, he gave it to Will. So he's been a Cubs fan ever since too. And he hates to see like the last couple of players off the World Series team go, but he's excited about the buildup. And that's the beauty of baseball. You tear it down and start over. Interesting. So let's see. On Zone TV, you can watch the show live, Twitter, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
There are, I don't know, 68 currently on YouTube, 17 likes. Slay doesn't like that.
No, I don't like that at all. I need you to go like that button. Go hit the button.
The like button.
That's right. The thumbs up. People that can't find this, the little thumb that's pointing up.
Also, Lonzo says the ghost at his house is a dude.
Oh, okay.
How do you know? Did you what?
Bobby Brown knew his ghost was a female.
He did
because he said the ghost tried to have sex with him.
Yeah, I mean,
he told Robin Roberts that. That's not just me like finding some online thing.
Bobby, you got to be more careful.
She's like a legit journalist, and he comes at her with this stuff, and she's like, "Oh, interesting."
Do you think that like probably
Bobby Brown
stacks on her list of weirdest
conversations? But I mean, that's his prerogative to talk about ghosts.
Hey, prerogative. On point.
Yeah, it was.
I thought you told him to get rid of that thing.
He did.
I did. And keep on just hanging around. You know what? I'm gonna go in and mess that whole board up. Then Schaefer, Payne,
you know what we should do?
Be mad at me.
We should get into the press box at First Horizon Park, and when he throws his first pitch, do that.
Scream.
Oh.
No.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool too. Yeah.
Do not come here and mess this up. I've spent 4 days organizing this. Do not.
I'm just gonna scramble it.
Color coded.
It's gonna be scrambled.
Pretty. Do not.
It's gonna be scrambled.
So, how long have you been preparing for this moment to throw this first pitch?
I think I'm supposed to throw the first pitch around 6:45, so it'll be about 6:44 was when I'll probably start preparing.
Oh.
I told Slade during the break.
That's what Slade did. He did hit a kid in the knee.
I told Slade
when he was warming up.
A laser.
My arm has one throw in it. That's it.
That's it.
That's all my arm has in
you
it.
had to quit baseball because of a shoulder thing.
It was a shoulder that turned into an elbow issue. So
you need to throw with your
I went
left
and saw
hand.
my shoulder doctor today, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah. Go ahead.
He may need to help me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure.
I'll refer you whenever
Hers
you
is
throw it
from
in the dirt.
her 3,000-ton backpack.
Your husband and it's unthawed.
That
It's
is
ice
true.
shoulder or something, right?
Frozen shoulder.
Frozen shoulder. That's right.
I yelled at the doctor today. I'm like, because he listens to our show sometimes on his way home, and I'm like, dude, you give me this paperwork that has the oldest woman painting on her easel. She's got gray hair and a like grandma sweater draped over her shoulders. Here, this is what you have. He's like, I know. I told them they got to get new paperwork. Thanks, Dr. Byram. Appreciate it.
So,
Appreciate
if you can't tell
The old
by
pamphlet.
Slay's reaction to Dawn griping, that's one of Slay's favorite things in life now is Dawn getting upset.
Yes, I love it. I love it because it just shows me that Zen stuff was just
that was
that
bomb.
was tomfoolery.
Flash in the pan.
That's
Tomfoolery. All right, your chance to win.
Don't screw it up tonight.
Sounds tickets right now. It is Winning Wednesday with the
guarantee.
Nashville Sounds. Be caller number 5 now for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see 3HL's Joe Hunk throw out the first pitch for Sounds v. Charlotte Knights tonight at First Horizon Park. 615-737-1045. What did Big Jeff have to say after practice today? We'll play some audio for you when we come back. 3HL 1045 this home.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Thinking you need a big down payment to buy a house? Well, you don't. So stop searching for the money. At thehomeloanexpert.com, we can get you in the home of your dreams with no money down. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
Good afternoon from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Joe Hogg. The Titans on the field today for their first official practice of training camps. Treylon Burks spoke with the media earlier today to talk about the conditioning and one thing, and actually more than one thing, that he did to try to get in better shape coming into training camp.
Conditioning, running, putting myself in situations where I know that my asthma would flare up, and just being able to push through it and, just be dominant.
Julio Jones talked to multiple people earlier today and said that the main reason why he signed with the Bucs is because he wants that ring and he knows that the Bucs have a good chance of winning the Super Bowl this year. And the Nashville Sounds back on the field tonight. Game 2 of their 6-game series with the Charlotte Knights. First pitch of the game at 7:05. My first pitch about 15 minutes before that, so make sure that you get there early. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? Britt Doherty. Alongside the queen of sports talk radio, Dawn Davenport. She's got her hair in a messy bun.
That's right. You know what that means.
She's going to come at you.
Well, that, or it's hot as beep out, so got to throw that hair up. Or it's training camp. That's what that means.
What would the beep be? I'm trying to figure out what she would say there. Hot as Vols?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Because we hot. Vols hot. Scorching.
You do know me well, don't you?
I do have the, we'll get to Big Jeff in a second, but I do have, so the FPI came out today. Oh, by the way, speaking of Vols, there he is. He's Ron Slay.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, I'm in the building. Best believe I'm in the building.
Oh.
I'm in the building. Car ain't got no rules.
Look at this.
See,
Boom.
this is how I got in-school suspension one time, throwing paper balls at things.
This is what happens when you take my trash can away from my side of the room. You put it over by Ron Slay. So now Ron Slay, he's in the building.
Hey, Miss Crownover, 6th grade Stokes, man. She sent me to the principal's office.
Crownover.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Heck of a name. Heck of a name.
I forgot what she taught. I think she was just like my general teacher. General
just such a general knowledge.
Well, I had Miss Toon for English. I think I have Miss Crownover for everything else.
Dude, that's crazy. You remember your teachers.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that means, the impact on you, Yor. Good job, teachers.
Well, I mean, she sent me to in-school suspension.
Oh.
Which, I mean, wasn't bad because they didn't tell your parents.
Right.
Like, well, for me, mom. They didn't tell mom. I just sat in there and did write-offs. How hard is that?
That's fun.
Oh, jeez.
So when you did
Knock that
write-offs,
out.
did you write out the whole sentence? I will not throw paper balls at the trash can?
I went
Or do you go
3
one-
words.
Oh, 3 words.
3 words and then go all the way down, then start over.
Do they still make kids do write-offs?
Chris just made our niece do some write-offs.
Because somebody the other day was talking about.
So, yeah, they do.
So I guess so. Somebody the other day was like surprised that we had been paddled in school.
Really?
I'm shocked.
Oh, it was you.
Yeah.
What are you asking?
Yeah.
Seriously? Oh, I used to get it every day in 6th grade.
But isn't that
Are
funny?
you
Because
kidding me? You're young.
I think young parents now
Yes.
would be blown away by the fact that, like my case, I hit the teacher with an eraser.
Oh,
Damn, Yor.
You know.
I mean, you Bart Simpson. You bad, man. You was a bad kid, dog.
You know the eraser that went on the end of the pencil because the eraser on the pencil wasn't any good?
Yeah.
So some girl threw one at me, and I threw it back at her. She ducked and hit the teacher.
Boom. What you hit in the head? What you hit at?
I don't know.
See, look,
I hit
this
her
is
well
what
enough.
they tell you in the NFL, too, on the football field.
Second
It's always
person.
the one that retaliates
Yep.
that gets
Mhm.
busted.
Right, and it's not like you can be like, she did it. Because
Yeah.
number one, nobody's going to believe you. Number two, you can't be a snitch. So
Right.
So
Snitches get stitches.
Ron told me that on the way back from school today. He
So
couldn't
it's
be a
still a
snitch.
thing?
I'm like, what are you telling me, dude? That's not even telling. If somebody messing with you on the bus, dog, that's not telling. Like, It's
I need to
okay.
know. These are things
Yeah,
I
you
need to
gotta
know
tell me this,
so we
man.
can
I'm not
deal
gonna
with
snitch
it.
Who's
that.
messing with him on the bus?
No,
do
nobody.
do we need to go bust on this bus?
we cool right now. We
Okay.
cool. We ain't even started yet. I
She
was
tried
just
to tell you she was
I was just
fired up
prepping them.
today.
Yeah, I was just prepping them, man.
He's getting ahead of the situation.
That's it.
Yeah.
You were talking about paddling on your
But yeah, so I know young people today would be like, young parents would be like, wait, you got paddled by a school principal in a public school?
Yeah.
I mean, they did ask my mom first, which I was shocked that she said, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
But her reasoning, now that I'm a parent, her reasoning was good because she wouldn't get home from work until like 6:30.
Right.
By then, there's too much time that has gone by to
It ain't
even
gonna make
deal
sense.
with
To,
it.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
You know what? I was at Haynes Middle School. Shout out to all my people who went to Haynes Middle School. Miss Thorson was my teacher. Shout out to Miss Thorson.
See,
I spoke to
you
her class
remember?
too. Yeah, that's my girl. I spoke to her class a little while ago on Zoom. But I did something, I don't remember what it was, but I got sent to the office, and instead of the principal paddling me, my mama told him, just wait, I'll be up there in a minute.
Ooh, and that's way worse.
So, mama came to the school, used their paddle?
She took the paddle from the principal. I'm looking at the principal like, hey, man, ain't this against some kind of rule? Like, what? Like, just don't, what? You can't do this. Like, you know what I mean? Paddle me, and there wasn't no paddling. Like, it was a beating. You feel what I'm saying? Like, she was hitting, like a paddling, you're supposed to bend over, take your wax on the butt, and be done with it.
For me, it was one whack. So,
I got 3 whacks. And then I grabbed it.
This is crazy to me.
No, this is
This
enough.
is crazy.
You know what I mean? So, but she
Can
just
you
hit
imagine
me.
it would never happen now?
And I never got it again. Well, Coach Fitzgerald paddled me one time.
ooh, he's a large man.
Man, and he had air holes in his paddle.
Of course. Aerodynamic.
That man told me.
Sails through the air. Easy.
Bend over, touch the stairs.
Yeah.
Whoa!
All right.
Fire me up.
So ESPN's FPI gives the percent chance a team has to win games. So the entire college football schedule, you can go in there, go to your whatever team you want to look at, the schedule, and then click on each game, and it tells you percent chance your team has to win. So they go through analytics and things like that. So I went through the Tennessee schedule. You want to hit this, Slay? You want to hear this?
Yes, I do.
Tennessee has a 95.1% chance to win the opener against Blaine Bishop's Ball State.
Love that.
37.3% chance to win at Pittsburgh.
What? Say what?
37%. That surprised me. I thought that
That's
was more
low.
of a 50-50 game.
They lost. They what? What is it? The
Jordan
Belinikov?
Addison.
Yeah. Come on, you ain't even got no receivers.
If they still had him, I would have said okay, but that's surprising.
They going with a 2-3 set. I see that.
Yeah, that's
Down
not
to
right,
5.
but yeah. At least it adds up
That's
to
not
5.
23.
Coach Mack told me that.
3 tight end set.
Yeah.
Akron, 97.3% chance to win that. So 2-1 based on that. Florida, Tennessee has a 60.2% chance to beat the Gators.
I'll be in the building too.
You know, Gator fan listening right now is like, yeah, whatever.
Gator Mike, where you at?
Yeah,
Been mighty quiet.
Gator fans like, I don't care what our roster looks like. We're beating Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been like, y'all sound like a fool.
At LSU, 32.3% chance to win at LSU.
Low, man.
And that's one of those games that can lead you
That's
to
a swing
a
game.
good season.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, 11.9% chance to win.
Hey, so you're saying there's a chance?
I'm gonna go and put it.
I thought that number is pretty high.
I'll put it about 7%.
UT Martin,
Put it at
98.5% chance to beat.
Oh
UT
yeah,
Martin.
spank him. That should be 100%.
Kentucky, in Knoxville, 47.4%.
Ooh, not favored.
Who came up with this list?
FPI. So
Yeah.
basically, no one put their name on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Kentucky.
At Georgia, 7.4%.
Darn, they got it's at Georgia. Okay.
Yeah. Missouri, 78.5% chance to beat them.
And Drink just came out with a little statement too. He said, "All right, Drink, y'all got to come to the Rocket Top, buddy. You better watch your mouth." Just saying.
What do you say?
I got to listen to it, but I just know he came out with a statement bashing on Rocket Top.
It's sitting right there on your computer.
Yeah, I ain't even listened to it yet. I'm waiting on the
Yeah,
break.
scroll down beyond this.
Waiting on the break.
At South Carolina, 55.9% chance to win there.
That's pretty high. I think
I think
going into South
I
Carolina.
think South Carolina's going to be sneaky good this year.
Mm-hmm.
At Vanderbilt, 87.9% chance to beat the Commodores in Nashville.
Well, no, why is that below 90? Now, why is it below 90? Because of what Mike Wright? Because of the way Mike Wright he speaks?
because
Like, 'cause
it's
he's
still
lovable?
Because he's lovable.
Like, what's going on with this?
They have a
Babs?
lovable quarterback, so that's worth
come on,
3%.
man, this ain't no good guy contest. Mike Wright a good guy. I love him. I want him to do great. 87, no? More like 97. For me.
More like Freddie Jackson. You like that one? All right, Vanderbilt. This one surprised me. We'll go through this quickly. At Hawaii, 28% chance to win at Hawaii. Vandy.
No, I'm gonna give him more props than that.
88.6% Elon. That's the only game that they have a higher than 50% chance to win.
Really?
Elon, 88.6. Wake Forest, 12.8%.
And that's here.
That's like Tennessee, Bama.
Yeah.
And it's here. At Northern Illinois, 42.5%. Not above 50 there. At Northern Illinois. At Alabama, 0.7.
That ain't funny. That ain't funny. Ain't funny.
It was funny. You
That's what
laughed.
you're supposed to say, Babsy. Just you telling me it's a chance. 0.7%.
She's not saying that.
Listen,
I
I'm
mean,
with
why
that.
even have what? Whatever.
Why even have a percent?
Yeah.
Why have 0.7?
Why even put 0.7
Well,
on there?
I haven't got to Georgia yet either. Ole Miss, 10.4%.
Oh, there we go.
Georgia, at Georgia, 0.8. They have a less than 1% chance to win 2 of these games.
That's tough.
Yeah, but it's Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put Tennessee that much further.
I said 7%. I said give
yeah.
them 7%.
Yeah.
At Missouri, 13.4%.
I think Vandy gonna go up there and shake them up.
Vandy's power numbers must be awful.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to Todd Fuhrman in a little bit. South Carolina, 22.4. At Kentucky, 5.2%.
Where's that South Carolina game at?
Vandy.
Okay.
Florida, 13.2%. Tennessee, 12.1. So Vanderbilt has a 28% chance or less to win 10 of their games.
And what was the over? We got to ask Todd from did that switch? What was the over under 2.5?
It depends where you go, 1.5 and 2.5. Yeah. So based on these FPI numbers, Vandy 1-11, Kentucky 9-3. Looking at some of the SEC, they have a better than 50% chance to win 9 games. Wow. Florida 7-5, Tennessee 7-5. So Auburn 8-4. Auburn 8-4. So is Auburn going to win more games than Tennessee this year? Are we going to do that again?
We most definitely doing it again, and most definitely we're going to be right again.
Babs is quiet. You don't have a lot of confidence in your War Dam Eagles this year, do you?
I just don't know what to expect.
I think we got more confidence than Babsy does.
That might be the case.
All right. Your phone calls, also Todd Fuhrman at 4:30, and we'll go through the SEC. By the way, the Bet the Board podcast that Todd Fuhrman does with his guy Payne Insider, really, really good. They just dropped the SEC preview. That is outstanding. They get deep into the numbers. That's coming up next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
You had to sit out with that injury.
Yes, sir.
What did it mean for you to watch the game from a different perspective and then be able to come back and now you thrust into the role of leading that wide receiver room?
Watching my teammates play, it was hard being injured because, I feel like I was rolling before I got hurt. Yep. I feel like I was playing the best I didn't play since I've been in college.
That's why I told him the Mingo experience. Yeah, go ahead.
So, I wanted to play. It was really hard because it was right before Alabama, too.
Right.
So, it was just hard. But, my mama, she's real close to God, so she always keep my spirits and stuff. How just tell me to stay faithful because, I always plan on trying to leave in 3 years, but sometimes you got to stay another year. So, God does everything for a reason. But it was fun watching everybody play last year. Yeah. Like, it kind of hurt me not to travel to some of the games. The Tennessee game was crazy, but me being on crutches, it was probably best for me to be at the house anyway with everything going
Duck
on.
mustard bottles on the crutches and all that. You can't do all that.
Yeah, I was just watching it from the house and just seeing everything, like how the stadium was like lit up with all the lasers and stuff. I'm like, bro, it's crazy. I'm over here watching it in my room. I just got little LED lights in my room, and they got the whole stadium lit up.
That's real. Yeah.
So it was definitely, it made my injury. It wasn't as hard seeing my team win because, we was all 4-8 at one point.
Right.
To barely, we never, just got blown out before. So it was like seeing the little games. We always used to lose because we didn't finish a couple plays. And seeing everything turn around last year definitely made my injury better than seeing my guys feel their dreams, just keep winning and have fun. Because everything's more fun when you're winning.
615-737-1045. You want in at 3HL1045 on Twitter. Brent Norton on Davenport, Ron Slay. You got us. And we are finally in football season. Training camp underway for the Tennessee Titans. We're going to talk some SEC football with Todd Fuhrman. The Bet the Board podcast is his podcast, and they have done all of the Power 5 conferences. They've broken them all down. SEC was last for them, and it is phenomenal. So you need to check that out. 615-737-1045. Slay and I were telling our being paddled stories from back in the day. Chris in Spring Hill next up. Chris, what's up?
How you guys doing? Slay, go Vols.
Yes. Woo!
Don, go Tar Heels.
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm just kidding. No, you guys were
Come on,
talking about getting
Chris.
paddled in school, and I only got paddled once. It was in the 3rd grade, but the problem is that my elementary school principal that paddled me only had one arm.
Oh.
He lost an arm in a paper mill accident when he was in his 20s, and that one arm was strong as hell too, and I never forgot that.
Dang.
It's an unbelievable story. Did you wake up today and say, I'm going to tell this story on the Sports Talk Show?
Yeah, right. You got to, enjoy the memories.
that's facts. That's factual right there. Appreciate that, Chris.
I think the one-arm principal actually would have a little more power behind him.
Without question.
Because you're going to
balance and
overcompensate.
everything.
Yeah.
Man, that follow through going to be treacherous.
I mean, follow through.
And see, that's what these parents now don't know, and the kids don't know either. And I hope they never have to find this out. But, dude, it was certain ways you get paddled. You get hit, or like you just said, you get followed through on where they push the wood through you. Like, hey, boy, that's a different paddle. The tat like that, and they hold on to you.
Right. Like when you're hitting a
Like
baseball.
that.
You
Yeah.
don't just like swing till you make contact.
Right.
You swing through the contact.
Come on, man. That's why I hated athletic principles. Bro.
That's a hell of a quote.
That's a quote right there, too.
Come on,
I'm just, like I said, I'm just amazed that y'all got paddled in school. So
Ooh, Babsy.
Yeah.
I just got grounded when I got home.
Grounded.
Go to your room.
I
Babs.
wish. Please ground me.
That was probably like a vacation for your parents.
We got rid of her. She's in the room.
We don't have to listen.
Lock the door.
You go up there and play with your dolls. Your ventriloquist dolls. Mini Babs.
Oh,
And then who was the other guy? Peter?
Cody.
Cody.
Cody. That's not even close. It's Cody.
Cody sounds like a country singer. Did you sing with these dolls?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. You learn something new every day.
Yep.
Bubba is in Dixon. Bubba, what's up?
Hey, Bubba.
Oh, Lord. Hi, friend. You're singing with a doll named Cody, huh?
Yep.
Why in the heck wasn't that thing out there yesterday? Oh, my goodness.
She does need to bring them to a remote one time, for sure.
You got to. She's going to show that talent. No, she's going to have to do it. Like, don't be ashamed of it.
Y'all just need to get over this because it ain't happening.
I don't believe
Moving
you
on.
can do it.
Moving on. Hey, that's been tried before too, Bubba. Nice try.
Oh, okay. You know what, Dawn? Whatever. Hey, it's like Auburn. Just go ahead and make excuses.
I was going to say, you didn't see Bubba at the remote yesterday in an Auburn shirt, did you, Babs?
No.
No, because he lost a bet.
It don't matter. I still showed up in one.
That's right.
How you gonna feel, Dawn, though, when Auburn is like subpar and they're shooting for Lane Kiffin? Lane Kiffin's gonna be Auburn's new coach in about a year or so.
I'm okay with that.
They would love that.
No, I'm telling you,
I'd be
he's
great
got
with
to. He has nothing at Ole Miss.
I know.
When you're the transfer portal king, yeah, no.
I mean, he's not the only one. There's a lot of schools that have double-digit transfer portal kids.
His old quarterback, Matt Corral, just suddenly had to say today that he regrets going to Ole Miss.
God,
There
he did
you
not
go.
do his coach any favors.
Did he?
Exactly, because he can't do stuff, and guess where it's at. So
He said he was handed, like he knew he would be the quarterback there. He should have. You've got the audio? Here's what he
the
said.
headline of the article was clickbait, way worse than what he actually said.
But this is what he said.
You know, I'm gonna take us back to where I decided to go to college. I took the easy way because I felt like I could play right away, right? And knowing what I know now and trusting my instinct and trusting my work ethic, I would have went to a place that would have made me compete. So, with that being said, who does it? Like the best of the best, they want competition, and I think for this room, it's going to be a great competition because we're all competitors in that room, and we all understand what the job is to get done, and we're going to do it.
So he's talking about competition, and he should have gone toward competition as opposed to going away from it. But I mean, he did say he regretted going home.
I mean, and golly, so you should have went to a bigger, better school.
Yeah, should have gone to Alabama, right, Bubba?
No. I mean, he could have. He probably would have set the bench. But what I'm saying is, Lane Kiffin don't have a recruiting there. So his biggest thing was recruiting from USC, Alabama. Hey, they have names tied to it. I'm sorry to give you a little props, Dawn. Auburn's a better name than Ole Miss. So I think that'll be their next head coach.
Interesting.
But the reason why I'm calling is saying Vanderbilt's going to start 4-1. I believe Alabama's their 5th game.
4-1.
Wait,
I'm about to put that on the whiteboard, Bubba. Hold on. I'm put that
at Hawaii,
Alabama.
Elon, Wake Forest, at Northern Illinois, then out at Alabama. Yeah.
All right, they're going to lose. They're going to win up to Alabama, lose that. The only other one they'll win is Missouri. And then UT. No, UT's winning the East. I'm telling you right now. I know I want to. I lost the bet. Got to do that. They're going to upset Georgia, lose to Alabama. I'm telling you, that's the only loss this year.
What have you been? What you been getting into today, Bubba?
Not a darn thing. I just got off work and I'm about to daggone. I got to practice. I got a barbecue competition coming up. I got to just start practicing tonight. I'm telling you, mark it, Dawn. And if
Vanderbilt
I'm wrong,
4-1 and Tennessee winning the East. That just happened from Bubba.
Let's go. Make a bet. I don't care.
Yeah.
Come up with it.
None of that's happening, Bubba.
But I'm telling
He
you,
just said none of that's happening.
Vanderbilt, as strong as they came on at the end of the season, they're going to continue that during the first of the season because they lost a little, but not a lot. I'm telling you, Vanderbilt's on the path. They're getting their butts kicked by Alabama. I mean,
I think
so. Yeah, no doubt.
I think a ghost got into Bubba's body and started talking.
Like who is this?
Well, you know what? That is mean. Ronald Sylvester's play. That's a daggone cigar yesterday. You better take up.
Hey, Bubba, that's what I was just about to say, man. That was all love. I'm trying to figure out, Bubba, that's gonna be tough. Vandy 4-1. That's.
All right, hey Bubba, we got Todd Fuhrman on hold. We'll start with that. Vandy 4-1. Odds that happens.
Now, you know what's tough, Ronald?
Yeah.
Saying that you could pitch a strike. That was tough. But I still went for it and gave you the faith.
That's because I love you.
Thank you, Bubba. Magic Mac says, cut Bubba off immediately. He's fried in all caps.
That's my guy, Bubba. I love Bubba to death. 4-1.
Todd Fuhrman, odds that Vanderbilt starts 4-1.
You know what? Their schedule, in all honesty, guys, isn't as daunting on paper as people are led to believe, but I think folks will be surprised at how big an underdog they are when the number opens up against Wake Forest the third week of the season, and there is still a very good chance that Vanderbilt could be an underdog week 4 when they make the trip to lovely DeKalb to take on NIU. I just want to know, are you guys going to be traveling with the team to do some live telecasts when they start the season on the Hawaiian Islands as a 7-point favorite against the Rainbow Warriors?
I mean, every time we run into Clark Lee, we kind of pitch that idea, especially Slay.
Every time.
Hey, I mean, I like the approach. There's no reason not to try and pitch that. Hawaii, I'm sure, in late August is absolutely lovely, and it'll get you guys out of that sweltering humidity for one of the few times all year that the Doors will actually be favored on the football field.
So I popped in the Bet the Board podcast. I went and picked up my 12-year-old from football practice yesterday, and I'm listening to you guys, and so Drew knows your voice. He didn't know Payne's voice. So he's like, who's this guy? I was like, oh, that's Payne. He goes, his name is Payne? He's like, oh, my goodness. I'm like, no, it's his last name, man. And he goes, oh, I'm going to name my kid Payne. Payne Doherty.
Yeah,
anyway.
I applaud that. And, Payne prides himself on having one name. He likes to think of himself as a sports bettor who doesn't need a first and last. And continues to adhere to that somewhat mysterious persona of sorts.
Well, the Bet the Board podcast, you guys have gone through all the Power Five, and you have now dropped the SEC and been going through that, not all the way through it, but phenomenal stuff. Great job. And people need to rate, review, subscribe, and check that out. Looking at the SEC East, you guys think that Georgia takes a step back, even if they still have the unbelievable record that they're going to have?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of fans go, wait a second, what do you mean a step back? It's all from a number standpoint for us. When you look at Georgia and the way they were power rated last season, I mean, they were the best team in all of college football, but you're talking about replacing a slew of prominent producers, especially on the defensive side. Yes, they have a little stability offensively with Stetson Bennett coming back, but this team will be a touchdown worse, at least on paper, to kick off this season compared to where they finished last year. Now, that doesn't mean they're not legitimate national championship contenders. There's a reason that they're the second favorite to win the SEC, and the reason why they're north of $5 favorites to come out of the SEC East. So Georgia's got to go out there and prove that they can be the hunted just the same way they can be the hunter. Sometimes it's a lot more difficult when you've reached that mountaintop than when you're climbing to it for the first time in the last 30 years of the program.
Slay and I loved jumping in on Georgia last year because you knew what you had and you knew the under because the defense was so amazing. But also Georgia's offense was able to capitalize with field position. If you made them drive the field, they weren't that great. Are they going to be better offensively this year?
Well, that's one of the things, and this was a stat, I believe, from the Athletics, so I want to try and give credit where credit is due. When Georgia took over on its own 25-yard line or worse last year, which happened about half the time, Georgia only scored touchdowns on 28% of those possessions, which had them outside the top 35. So to your point, so many of their drives started in plus territory or at their own 40 or better that it wasn't that difficult when you're able to pick up 15 or 20 yards. Suddenly you're entering the green zone and opposing defenses are always on their heels. When you look at this Georgia team, I think the strength offensively is obviously in the tight end group. I mean, they have guys that are true number ones in Brock Bowers. Yeah. All the reports out of Athens, Eric Gilbert is going to be the talent that LSU thought they were getting. And it's not selling Darnell Washington short, but if you're running 3 tight end sets, pick your poison with those guys. Running backs, it's rinse and repeat. And I think this Georgia offense will be a little bit more electric than what we saw last year if they take the governor off Stetson Bennett. Defensively, there are still 4 and 5 stars everywhere you look. They're just not as experienced. The one thing, though, that Georgia has working in their favor, and I caution people when they do their college football prep, don't just look at returning starters. There's some second and third teamers on Georgia's defense that got plenty of reps when those games got out of hand last year.
Looking at the rest of the SEC East, so trying to figure out who's second, right? So if you look at FPI, which came out today, and you go through Kentucky's numbers, they give Kentucky a better than 50% chance to win 9 of their games. Do you see it that way? Because they've lost a lot, especially up front on that offensive line that's been so good recently.
Yeah, we're not nearly as bullish on Kentucky as a lot of the publications and some of the preseason rankings are. So either way, I'm very curious to watch this team. I mean, we know the optimism, and I saw the interview you guys did last week at Media Days with Will Levis. He's reason to be excited about a Kentucky offense that hasn't had a difference maker under center for so many of Coach Stoops' 10 years on campus. Chris Rodriguez is outstanding in terms of his ability to run the ball. But to your point, Brent, talking about that offensive line, what does that group look like? And do they have difference makers in the receiving group that are able to step up? You've got a guy like Tavian Robinson that'll operate from the slot from Virginia Tech, but he's not Wan'Dale Robinson, and 100-plus catches you'll lose there. So if they're okay in those positions, I think this team will be fine. But defensively, in my opinion, they take a real step back. The fortunate thing for Kentucky, when you look at their schedule up until their bye week, they only play 2 road games. They go to Gainesville to take on Florida, and they go to Oxford to take on Ole Miss. I know Kentucky fans believe they can be 7-0. To be quite honest, if this team is 6-1 going through their first 7 games, I think they're sitting pretty. But this is a Kentucky team that I'm going to bet week to week because I'm not nearly as bullish on them as the betting markets are early.
All right, what about Florida? So as we go through Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee, what about Florida?
Florida, for me, is one of the more enigmatic teams in the entire East because I think they have a relatively limited ceiling, but we're not quite sure what the floor looks like if the players don't necessarily buy into what Billy Napier wants to do. The biggest thing to come out of spring camp for them, he talked about accountability and culture. We know he brought in an army of staff, and that was part of the things he negotiated to try and take over in Gainesville with this Florida program. Anthony Richardson, if he's able to work on his accuracy, can be one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. The problem for him is you wonder where his difference makers are, whether it's Arizona State transfer Ricky Pearsall, or you look at Xavier Henderson. I think they'll be okay running the football, but this is a Florida team that's going to be a slow rebuild. I don't think it's as simple as waving the magic wand. And when you look at what Florida has right out of the gates, sure, they start with 3 home games, but they're going to have their hands full week 1, where they'll be a short home underdog against Utah. They'll get Kentucky, and then a USF team that I think if Florida comes in a little bit flat in a sandwich spot between Kentucky and Tennessee, little brother will want to try and get their pound of flesh. So I look at this Florida team, and I think bowl eligibility has to be a realistic expectation for them. But I'm not expecting them to go out and surprise anybody by winning 8 or 9 games.
Is Tennessee what they were last year? Really electric offense, really bad defense that takes chances, and 7-8 wins?
Until proven otherwise, I think that's the perfect assessment for what you're going to get out of Vols football. They're going to be electric offensively. I think Hendon Hooker only gets better with another year in the system, and we saw what Cedric Tillman can do as a true number 1. I think the big question that you're looking at on Tennessee's offense, who emerges as a bona fide number 2 in the absence of Velus Jones and Javonte Payton out there. But defensively, look, and this isn't being disparaging or anything, that Tennessee defense just isn't up to SEC standards where they need to be in terms of depth. And when they're on the field for as many reps as they will be, you do have to have that gambler mentality. Create those havoc plays, look to get a tackle for loss or force a turnover, because if you're going to get paper cut to death, it's not going to end well. I think Tennessee's season, in my opinion, gets defined before they even go into the bye week. You get real optimistic and real excited pretty quickly if they're able to go on the road, beat Pittsburgh, where they'll be right around a field goal favorite, and they're able to hold serve at home against bitter rival on September 24th in the Florida Gators.
Todd Fuhrman with us, our guy in Vegas, Bet the Board podcast.
Was that agreement with me and frustration that you had over there? Or was that, I'm going to prove this guy wrong and Tennessee's going to run the table and they're going to go 11-1 splitting against Georgia and Bama?
Hey, Todd, you won't dare hear me say that. I was agreeing with you on that one. I was agreeing.
Hey, real quick over in the West, and we'll hit the West harder next week, but over in the West, Alabama, Jahmyr Gibbs at running back. Is everything going to go through him?
I mean, it should. I mean, he's an electric runner between the tackles. When he gets the ball in space, he's extremely elusive as a pass catcher. And it's something that Alabama really lacked last year in Brian Robinson and some of the depth that they had at the running back position. The big question for the Crimson Tide is, what does that receiving group look like? There aren't guys that immediately slot in and you go, you know what, there's John Mechie, there's a Jamison Williams. I'm sure Alabama will find a receiver that develops a rapport early on with Bryce Young, but this could be a good old throwback Alabama-style football team where it's run the football, trust your quarterback to throw it a little bit, and lean on a defense that should be absolutely electric with so many disruptive forces in the trenches. But one thing I will say, and I know we hit on it on the Bet the Board podcast, all this talk about Will Anderson as a legitimate Heisman contender, it's a great narrative, and I think people are getting excited about it. But anybody who's going to the window to bet a defensive player in this day and age at 25-1, I'm probably more than happy to book their action, and by all means, send them over to me, and I'll figure out a better number that we can make an arrangement on.
I mean, can we do that? Is that legal?
I mean, I don't think it's legal, but it's a little bit of a gray area. So if you guys can find that little loophole of plausible deniability, I'm sure we're able to work something out.
Oh, man, Todd Fuhrman. Yeah, check out the Bet the Board podcast. We'll hit more SEC stuff and talk college football and pro football. And
we'll hit
everything.
Auburn next week.
There ain't much to talk about, John, but at least the season hasn't started. So right now, Auburn is in a flat-footed tie for first place in the SEC West.
Thanks, Fuhrman. Better come with something better next week.
Flat-footed tie.
I'll be armed and prepared as always, guys. Have a great rest of the week, and welcome back to Nashville. I missed you last Wednesday.
All right, there he is, Todd Fuhrman. At Todd Fuhrman on Twitter. That guy. All right, Matt
It's a gray
Corral.
area.
Yeah, that's all.
Matt Corral's comments. Man. Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren. Conference maybe not done expanding. We'll talk about that next. 3HL 1045 The Zone.
Well, we talk a lot about things
Hi,
being.
I'm Ryan Kelly. Is it time for some updates around the house? Last year, our average client received over $52,000 with a simple cash-out refinance. Let's make those home remodeling projects a reality. Start now at thehomeloanexpert.com.
He's trying to sabotage me.
You've made some noises today, man.
I'm just saying, man. Hey, it's going to be interesting.
So will the Big Ten. Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren said the conference may not be done expanding. If they do land Notre Dame, and by the way, if Notre Dame calls, Kevin Warren, hey, Kev, we're coming. It's done. If they do land Notre Dame, Zach Barnett with footballscoop.com says Team 18 would be Stanford.
Wow, man.
They would want the San Francisco market.
Big Ten just trying their best, man.
Academic.
Big Ten, just pump your brakes, man. We don't really want to hear about all that, dog. Go get all your teams that you're trying to get, man. The SEC is what it is, man. Just means more, dog.
All these time zones. I mean,
come on, dog.
They'll figure out a way to put the schedule together, but it won't be easy.
It's gonna be wild. Can't wait to see USC and UCLA. It's gonna be fun.
USC playing Rutgers.
Can
they just meet in the middle? This is playing like Wichita?
No, everybody good. No, all the way. Nope. We ain't got no corners, baby.
The mid-Big Ten.
This is silly, man.
They just meet.
On a serious note, it's going to be so detrimental for other sports.
That too. You're right.
And nobody's talking about that.
Nope, they ain't. Football will be fine traveling.
The non-revenue producers.
I hate how they say that, but yes.
Yes, this guy is going to get all kinds of revenue. Big Jeff Simmons. Looking forward to a big year this year. Don Davenport was out at practice. Jeffrey Simmons dropped a couple LBs. Does he feel quicker this year?
I mean, that's just this thing, you know. When you light, especially playing my position, you know, you're not feeling, especially like this camp. You know, you always hear guys get camp legs. You know, that's something I feel like that'll help me out, especially later on down the camp, these days in camp. You know, just by conditioning my legs with that type of weight I have on me, it won't tire me down quick. You know, but you know, I did a lot of stuff with footwork wise, especially with my uncle. You know, I'm up there in Dallas. You know, we did a lot of feet work, ladders. Always, you know, keeping my feet moving through the rush and all that. So it just, like I said, repetition is everything.
I mean, the earth shakes when his feet move.
Oh man.
Hey, the one thing he did say immediately when he walked up, and so this is how it works. Several players, you just grab them as they're walking off the field. So it's like a big media scrum. Like radio people have their audio, TV people have their cameras on their shoulder and microphones. So that's how it
you're
works.
in some of these shots.
I know, because I didn't have a camera, so I want to be away. Being an old TV person, I know, so I like try to duck and just stick my phone up there, so I'm not in their shot, so that they can see Big Jeff. But because of that, I stood like next to the players to try and get out of the way. Yeah, which means I'm in their shot, but at least I'm not blocking their shot. That's my thought. But all of that to say, the first question for him obviously was about contract, and he nipped that so fast. I mean, it was a very adamant, I'm not here to talk about my contract. I am here to talk about football. And the way he answered it was, don't ask me another question about my contract, because I'm here, I'm working, and that will take care of itself. And that was the end of it.
More audio from Jeff Simmons talking about success. And he's a team guy. So what is the measure of success for this team?
Day by day, we're not looking in the, we're not even worried about the Giants or whoever we face out of that. You know, I think what's going to define everything and define our season is each and every day we come into this building, how much can we, like Coach said, find your role. You know, everyone knowing their role and contributing to this team, giving their best for effort. You know, no matter, no one knows how far we go with this team. So I think the message is, each and every day you come here, know your role and do it to your best ability.
Well, one of his roles is certainly as one of the key leaders of the team. Those little meetups in the end zone before games is that's one of the cool things out there. He was asked what he is doing to grow as a leader.
The leaders don't lead from the back. One thing about it, with me, I want to set the example. I want to show guys that this is what we want out of our defensive line, especially over there where we at. We're going to run to each and every station. So I think that's just setting the standards right there. Just by me running over there being in front, when we break it down on this field, I'm trying to be the first one over there every time. So that just, even with the young guys, that's showing the young guys that, this is our defensive line standard. And, it starts with me because, like I said, I feel like, and I know I'm the leader in that room. So, I lead, they kind of follow.
Obviously, Coach Rabel, a big leader, and a lot of the guys look to him. Players coach for sure. Did Jeffrey Simmons talk to Vrabel about being more of a leader?
it's understood. You know, I think especially going to my 4th year, being the captain last year, I think I know my role on this team. I know that, you know, I have to lead from the front. I have to, you know, not be a front runner. Even when things get tough, I have to always, you know, keep a positive mindset, which I do. So I think, you know, of course we'd have had a conversation where, you know, leading Jeff, this and that, but I know that. I know what type of leader I have to be.
So what tier dog is Big Jeff? DAWG?
Oh, yeah, tier 1. Mm-hmm. Top tier.
Tier 1.
Yeah, without question. Ain't no question. And you know what I hear in his voice? Comfort.
Yes.
Comfort in who he is. You know what I'm
feel
saying?
it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good to hear right there, man. Some growth.
Almost like an assassin that knows he's going to get the job done.
Yeah, like
nothing's going to go wrong. And if something happens, I'll deal with it, but I'll still get it done.
That's what you want, man.
The guy's still going down.
Come on now. Come on. That's it, Yor.
Treylon Burks showed up in shape. You'll hear from him in the 5 o'clock hour coming up. Stay tuned.
Pretty much the minute the playoff was created, everybody wanted to talk about expanding it. That's how our society works, right?
Question 2,
Yes.
you go to expansion.
I'm sorry,
I've
is this too early?
I've been on the air for 48 seconds before Dawn headed down that path. I thought it was going to be Ron that did it.
Yeah, it's not the Super Bowl.
It didn't work way around to me yet.
I should have let it be Slay. What I mean, all right, Bill. So what do you think here?
What are we looking at? 12, 24, 8.
No, I
it's
know.
natural. Go ahead.
Yes,
but it's natural
it
to
is.
think about more teams.
Yeah.
Every sport bracket has increased. I mean, literally every sport, including ours.
Yeah.
When we went from 0 back in the old bowl days to the BCS, now to the 4. So people love to talk about how can we make this better. And the problem is a good problem for us in college football. People want more college football.
Always.
That's not all bad.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, the anti-playoff guy was always, oh, it'll diminish the importance of the regular season, which I argued against. A lot of people did, but it hasn't done that at all.
You know, you're right. I think the jury's out on that. At some point, the size of the playoff does diminish the regular season. Look at, college basketball. I spent 16 years as director of the Final Four, men's Final Four, before I came over to football. And our January and February in college basketball is not as good as our football regular season.
Wow.
Now, that's football versus basketball. I get that. But is some of that all the energy goes into March in basketball? Would that happen in football? I don't think so. But we're going to have to keep our eye on that.
Maybe
if we do expand.
Maybe my position is different because I'm an SEC guy. And so, like, you could put 32 teams or however you want to do it in a playoff, and I'm still like Florida, Georgia, Auburn, Georgia, those rivalries in the South. Maybe it's not that way in other areas of the country. I don't know. But
I feel like it is, though, right?
we're a little biased.
Someone said to me about regular season, you're a little biased.
Yeah.
Really,
I'm a whole lot biased.
people here are a little biased
Yeah,
because
I am.
college football
Yeah.
is so awesome here.
Yeah.
But someone said to me about the tournament and regular season basketball, I only pay attention to 2 games a year, my friend said. I said, what are those? He goes, Duke, Carolina, and Carolina, Duke.
Wow.
Good evening from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Joe Huck. NFL training camps getting going today. Titans on the field for the first practice. Big Jeff talked after practice about a lot of things, including the fact that he's a little bit faster this year.
I mean, that's just this thing, when you light, especially playing my position, you're not feeling, especially like this camp, you always hear guys get camp legs. That's something I feel like that'll help me out, especially later on down the camp. These days in camp, just by conditioning my legs with that type of weight I have on me, this won't tire me down quick, But, I did a lot of stuff with footwork wise, especially with my uncle. I'm up there in Dallas, we did a lot of feet work, ladders, always, keeping my feet moving through the rush and all that. So it just, like I said, repetition is everything. So
Nashville Sounds back on the field tonight at First Horizon Park. First pitch at 7:05, but my first pitch is coming up at 6:50. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. What up, Nashville? You have got us, Brent Doherty, and there she is. She's Dawn Davenport.
Hi. Football's back.
You were there out in the hot sun.
Yes. Let's do it.
Ron Slade loves to do it.
Hey!
I don't know what it is, but whatever it is,
He loves it.
he loves it.
Better be ready. I'm in the building.
I ain't got no rules.
Time for the show.
Woo!
It is time for the show.
I
We're
ain't got
talking
no
a lot
powder on.
of Titans
I ain't got
football.
Look at what. As soon as I tell me, hey, boy, that's like rubbing the genie lamp.
Yeah.
Go and get you back on the blackboard.
Hey, Coach Mac, yes. I'm always game for that, baby.
Coach Mack just popped his head in.
I just told him Pittsburgh was going to be in the 23 set.
I ain't got no room.
Did you say?
That's me, Mac.
Did you say Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's what they are. Ain't they? Is a T in them?
Some days.
Oh, okay.
It used to be in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Big Ben's gone.
Ain't no ketchup up there.
Depends on if you talk to your brother or not.
That's my boy. Ain't no dog boy.
You did start talking about your powder dry, and here he comes.
That was crazy.
This
It
is
just
how
popped up, man.
according to Don, this is how the world works.
Babsy keeps saying the Matrix.
We live in the Matrix.
Yeah, hey, man, but I ain't got no powder dry. I'm going into this season, no powder.
I can't wait to see what Big Jeff does, man.
Man, you hear that? Do you
just continue to get better?
And I listen.
And more destructive.
I understand what Todd was saying about Will Anderson, but hey, man, listen. Some guys, when they speak differently. It's a different tone. Like it's
you posted up next to Will Anderson when he met with the media at SEC Media Days, and then I listened to some of it where he talked about, hey, we'll sell that A&M stuff on the field. I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So I went to listen to Bryce and Battle, and I come back, and you go, you're just looking at your phone, and you're like, this man different. This man different.
You can hear it, man, and that's the same comfort you hear in Big Jeff. Understanding where he is on this team. As far as leadership go, that's a different guy, man. That's a different dog right there, man. I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. Like, we saw something last year. I'm with you, Yor. I did. Well, it was nasty last year.
The biggest thing, I'm glad that, and I asked Dawn the first question when I saw her today, and I'm glad that Treylon Burks showed up in better shape.
Yeah.
So we don't have to listen to everybody talk about that. Yeah. But you say he looked good.
I thought he looked great. For what we saw today, I mean, it was the very first on the field team stuff. Coach Vrabel capped it at 90 minutes. He called it acclamation, his very first comment in his presser afterwards when Teresa gets her first question. She was like, what? Ended a little early, Coach, earlier than scheduled. He's like, 90 minutes, acclamation. There we go. So for what we got and what it was, I thought he looked great. I
Great
thought,
catch on a 7-on-7 drill early.
Great catch.
And you thought that was big for him, just to like get over that.
That's what I said. And you almost felt it from the team too after it happened, because he beat Christian Fulton from the get-go. Then finished it, made the catch, and you just felt almost the immediate cheering from the rest of the team too. Like I felt like it was a big moment. Nobody will ever admit it, but I felt like it was a big moment that he probably needed.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to make several other catches.
Yeah,
he ran with the twos.
It's one thing to say like, "Oh, I feel good," blah blah blah. It's another thing to go out there
and do it. And honestly, in the way he caught the ball, the way he got off the line, all of that, I felt like it was impressive. It was a glimpse to what he can be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a glimpse. It's training camp. It's day one. But
day one.
SEC Media
It's a big
Day
day for him.
Yep.
We had an opportunity. Me and Yor were walking over to the Mercedes-Benz stadium and go get some food.
Me, you, and Kirby.
Yeah, me, you, and Kirby. And we ran into some Arkansas guys.
Yeah.
And they talked about Treylon Burks, and they've been following him since high school. And all they raved on like, hey man, dude, y'all getting the dude to go to work, man. Like he been like this since high school. It followed him in college. Like the guy that you're getting is what you saw on draft day. That's what you're gonna see all the time. He's gonna have his cowboy boots on. Right. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's who he is, and he's always coming to work. So that right there, man, I love being able to talk to people that have watched guys over their career. Yeah. And it's just not popping up. This is new for us because we getting to see him in person. But these people saw him when he was younger. You know what I mean? And to see him kind of go through the process and them be there with him, it put me at ease, man, knowing that, you getting a pro. And it was a hiccup, it was a slip up, whatever you want to call it, coming in OTAs that way. But like you said, Babs, he owned it. And I don't want nothing else. Yeah. Just go out there and do the work. And I think that's what you saw today.
Yep. So Babs able to get in the mix and catch up with Treylon Burks today. How did he feel after day one?
I feel good. Feel real good. Been able to come out here, be with the teammates on my first training camp, and just do what I love to do, and also be a part of the team and play my role like I'm coached to do.
Well, and the obvious question: how does he feel compared to how he felt at OTAs?
I mean, I feel a lot different. Feel a lot healthier, and it just makes me feel good that I can come out here and just play a role and be a part of the team.
So, what did he focus on between then and now? Like, what was important between OTAs and training camp?
Getting my conditioning right, making sure I'm taking care of my body, eating healthier, working out, and just really staying on top of my playbook and, just knowing my role and just being part of the team.
I mean, big day for him for sure, even though it is day one. And, we'll see how he further gets himself into the mix because, I mean, they're going to have to count on that dude. Mm-hmm. He can't just be a guy out there.
No. And when you got different dogs like that, you don't want to be just a guy out there. You want to be able to go out there, like what Bab said, when the ball's in the air and it's me going out there, you want to hear that. You want to hear that sigh of relief, like, our guy going to go get it. He did it again. That's him. That's what you want to be. You want to be relied upon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that Vrabel was talking about, some of the veteran guys like NWI and Robert Woods, that they can play all three wide receiver positions, right? Like you can swing those guys in and out.
Right.
And he said, it's okay for a rookie to, Coach Mack said the same thing, to go out there, play the one position and learn the hell out of that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, like Racy and Treylon, you might just want them to play one position so that you don't want to ask them to do too much early on.
Yeah.
Definite storyline moving forward. Also, Aaron Brewer and Jones battling at left guard. What can Dylan Radins do? Dylan Radins actually won one of the off-season awards given to offensive and
they picked 3 offensive guys, 3 defensive guys, and give awards to them. Another one was, which I thought this stood out a little bit, was Des Fitzpatrick.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, 4th round draft pick.
Yeah, but he was on the practice squad.
Yeah.
He got cut. Nobody picked him up. I mean, ended up back on the practice squad. So that says a lot for that guy to come back in. Well, I thought he looked good today. He made a couple catches.
Good.
And to win the offseason award, I thought that was pretty impressive. So who knows? Maybe there's still something he can salvage from him, and he can contribute in a time where really they're going to need some depth at that position.
Tight ends who were impressed again day one, but I mean that is certainly a position that everybody's going to be watching, right? Like
it's been missing.
Lack of production last year at that position, and that affected QB1.
Yeah,
he didn't have the dump off.
Not at all. Gotta have you. Need to listen, man. I ain't laying down, man, if I ain't got no blanket.
Is that nap time back in preschool?
Security blanket. Gotta have it, man. You gotta have your security. Look, hey, man, Linus told us, man, way a long time ago on Charlie Brown. Got to have your blanket, man. You ain't got your blanket, you ain't getting no rest. You get no rest.
Here's the thing, too. Charlie Brown didn't even care. I don't like Charlie Brown, man.
Man, Charlie Brown didn't even have no laces in the shoes.
What's he doing?
Brent hates Charlie
Just
Brown.
falling for the okie doke every time. I mean, come on.
Hey, man, you got a problem with
Lucy ain't gonna let you kick that ball.
He has a problem with Charlie Brown. Who has a problem with Charlie Brown?
I don't like Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown's what's wrong with America.
Charlie Brown.
Hey, you either play the ball or you let the ball play you. Where is Charlie Brown on that matrix?
Charlie love getting played.
Screw you, Charlie Brown. That's your next shirt, Mayor.
Well, I can see Davenport as Lucy, though. Let me go here and mess with this guy over and over and over and over.
I'll see you keep on snatching the ball, but
cool event coming up next weekend, the Big Machine at Music City Grand Prix. We're going to talk with one of the IndyCar drivers coming up next and get his take on the track. And that's driver the number 3 team Penske IndyCar, Scott McLaughlin. Next on 104.5 The Zone.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. Thinking you need a big down payment to buy a house? Well, you don't. So stop searching for the money. At thehomeloanexpert.com, we can get you in the home of your dreams with no money down. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com.
pressure on him.
Don't screw it up.
Oh, thanks. No problem.
Don't
Listen,
choke.
man.
Hey, you know what? Here's the good thing. It can't be as bad as Ron Slay's.
You would think that there's no way on earth that it would be
Right.
that bad.
Yeah,
right?
but here's the
That
thing.
a baseball
listen,
player.
It's not going to be as good as mine.
Let's be real. Slay's first pitch is in the past. There's nothing we can do about that. We're worried about tonight. You're representing something bigger than yourself. You're representing 3HL.
That's right.
Do you want to throw some more pressure on
And
him?
all the little
oh my
hunk of
gosh,
pillars.
he's laying it.
All the little hunk of pillars out there.
Oh, trust me, there's going to be one little hunk of pillar. It's going to be right beside me as I'm doing it because he's going on the field with me.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Hope nobody steps on that third baseline.
I'm hopping that sucker. I'm picking him up and making sure nobody touches the chalk.
That's gonna be good, baby. Baseball player though, Hunk. That's my thing, man. Like this, you in your comfort zone. Like you are laying down in the bed of your choice.
I will tell you this. The first time I ever did it, fake Minnie Pearl laughed at me. So there's that.
So you don't need
Ray screwed it up the first time he did it. Too.
I
Good
will
job,
say
bro.
I've thrown 2 first pitches in my life. This will be the first one I'm throwing off of a mound.
Hey.
Oh, there you go.
It's the first one I'm throwing off the mound.
Listen,
so it's a little different.
My advice to everyone in this situation: be spectacularly good or spectacularly bad. Don't just because my first one was awful and I bounced it in. The next one I threw a strike, but I didn't throw it very hard. I mean, you can throw a strike if you just lob it up there.
Yeah, you can lob it.
So the next time I threw it as hard as I could and I bounced it again.
I like that.
And that video
How
went,
many have you done?
I don't know, enough to be made fun of on social media a lot.
Hey,
a lot.
Man, you always got to have room for improvement, man. That's my thing. That's my thing.
Set the bar low.
I left the door open for Hunk, man.
Kids, if you learn anything from us today, learn this: set the bar low.
I feel sorry for our next guest having to come in on that intro right there.
For the number 3 T
Yeah, we'll set the
Pisky
bar low.
IndyCar, Scott McLaughlin joins us now. Scott, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, good guys. I actually threw the first pitch at a Cubs game a couple weeks ago, and I was the in-between guy. I threw a lob up, got a strike, but it just wasn't spectacular, so I feel really embarrassed now.
Did you throw from the bump? Did you throw from the mound?
I threw it from the mound. It was my first one ever, but yeah, it was yeah. Oh my God. I don't think I think I was more nervous for that than I have been in any race event this year.
When you're going like 5,000 miles an hour in an IndyCar.
Right, yeah.
You're sitting like 2 inches above the pavement.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott McLaughlin joins us now. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix coming up next weekend, which we'll talk a lot about. But I want to go back to last week in Iowa. I'm curious, do you guys just go in, do the event, and leave, or do you get to like see the gloriousness that is Iowa, for example?
No, I flew in very close to the track, and I really flew out that Monday morning. So I didn't really see much of Iowa. But I tell you what, the event was incredible out there. Though it was like there was a lot of people, and we had some really good concert acts and stuff. And as a driver, it was pretty awesome. You know, you just felt like it was just pretty big time. You know, Grant Stefani, Blake Shelton, Tim McGraw. It was awesome. You know, a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, listen to that.
That's
Like,
Good list right there.
I mean, you might get some of that when you come to Nashville next weekend.
You will get Tim McGraw.
Last time I went to Nashville was awesome too. Like that place is bumping, and I had some. I think we're going to do a pit stop challenge right downtown, and it's probably one of my favorite races on the calendar. Just purely from like the party atmosphere. It's just wild.
Are you used to the racing element of what you do? I'm curious because just watch it on television is one thing. Watch it live, it's a completely different thing. But like, I get anxiety just watching how fast you guys go and how you're muscling each other and you're going around turns. And I'm just curious, like, how much of a mental grind is that?
Yeah, it's obviously on the weekend like that at Iowa. That was an 18.5-second lap time. So, you know, you're going pretty quick and it's just, you know, you're ripping around a 1.5 mile oval pretty fast. And, I guess before the race, I'm always, you know, a bit nervous and had the butterflies going through your stomach, whatnot. And then once you sort of turn the car on and, you know, you just get to work. It's just part of it. It's, and then it's really just, you try and, I guess you're strong on the other guy, you know, or girl. You just try and, you know, you throw it around the outside. You just trust your instincts from that point on. And, Sometimes that works out and sometimes it doesn't, but it does make my family and my wife particularly a little bit nervous.
See, Slay, I mean, you're talking about these guys are different, man.
Yeah, they are. They are a different mentality. Scott, do you I know in sports, when playing basketball, you kind of zone out the crowd. Like a lot of people man, did you hear them screaming at you? And you kind of no, you kind of in the game. You kind of zone out, don't hear anything. Is that the same in the car?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the one thing I guess motorsport has different to any sport is you really can't hear the crowd, but you can see them. But that's probably one thing I'm jealous of, basketball, NFL, NHL. I think it's just amazing the crowd interaction they get. But yeah, look, it's something that when you put that helmet on, you just really got to be in that zen, in that zone period, and just really focus on what the job is at hand. I mean, you're traveling multiple football fields per second. It's around 40 miles an hour, so it's a very fast race car that you got to keep under control, and because if you don't, it has reasonably bad consequences.
Let me ask you this, man. I'm learning as I go, so I need some schooling and some teaching. You also race supercars, is that right?
I did, yeah. I raced supercars, which was our NASCAR in Australia. So it's I raced that for a number of years, and then I got the opportunity to come over here and race IndyCar.
Biggest difference between that and IndyCar?
Got a roof. No, honestly, it's a very heavy car. It's very similar to what you see on the road. Your sedan or something like that. But it's the IndyCar is just a phenomenal sort of piece of machinery. It's so it's like an upside down airplane. All those wings that you see on the car and stuff, that they're all trying to keep you on the ground, not take flight. And that
good idea.
It's a lot of downforce. Yeah, it's a good idea, especially when we're going over the bridge at Nashville. Good idea to stay on the ground.
I just watched Top Gun. And then Maverick tells what's my man's name? Son Rooster.
Rooster.
Tell Rooster it's not the plane, man. You know what I mean? It's the person, it's the pilot. So is it the car? Is it the car or is it Scott?
Hey, let's go with Scott, huh? Let's go. You're gonna have a point.
The driver.
Yeah.
So, Scott, you were born in New Zealand, moved to Australia at 9. When did your love of racing begin?
I started racing go-karts when I was 6 years old. So I did a few years in New Zealand, and then we moved to Australia. But for me, initially, it was just a hobby. It was just a thing that I did with my mum and dad. It was an awesome family thing. We went all across the country racing, and then you eventually you get better and better. You get picked up by people. They go, hey man, saying to my dad, this kid could go somewhere. It's like you get scouted in some ways, very similar to any sport that you play, and it just gets more and more serious. But I guess the passion was there from a very, very young age. I just loved race cars. I loved cars. I love going fast. There's just no better feeling. And I'm very proud. I'm a professional race car driver, but it's a hobby that's turned into a profession, which is, you count yourself very lucky for.
Can't beat that.
Scott McLaughlin with us at S McLaughlin 93. So the first time you got in an IndyCar, did you let it rip, or did you have to build up to hit top speed?
Oh no, man! I let it rip. I just dropped the hammer. Basically, it was the coolest day of my life driving an IndyCar for the first time, and you literally get thrown back in the seat. And I've actually had to build my neck muscles for the G's and stuff that you pull, because halfway through the day on my first day in IndyCar, I couldn't hold my neck up anymore. It was crazy. The guys had to really pad the seat up so I could hold my neck up or lean my neck on something, because you sort of pull in 5 or 6 G's at some corners, and the braking, acceleration, it was just amazing. But yeah, the first time I was nervous, absolutely, but you grow up trying to get the most out of a race car or a go-kart, and you just go for it as soon as you get the opportunity.
See, that's fascinating because people who haven't experienced it or don't realize what goes into racing. And I'm talking either NASCAR or IndyCar, and they're, are these drivers athletes? That story right there, that just shows you what an athlete you have to be to drive these cars. Yeah.
Yeah, look, it's a big deal. You know, we're losing sort of 4 or 5 pounds throughout the race just in heat and sweat, and then on top of that, obviously we're doing 2-hour races. Making sure that we're strong enough to look at the steering wheel. There's no power steering like you have with your normal road car. It's it's all sort of feel through the wheel, and particularly when we go to a race like Nashville. Nashville's very a bumpy street circuit. Going across the bridge and back across the bridge and around the Titan Stadium there. It's an amazing racetrack, but it's very bumpy and hard on the body. So you got to be really ready for it. And adding to that, it's very hot. So a lot of sauna sessions and everything, getting ready for it.
Yeah, we were looking at the weather next weekend, like 95, 96 degrees.
It feels like
that makes me
106
feel really
today.
good.
Yeah.
It makes me feel really good.
It feels like 106, 107 today, Scott. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it does. My teammate Jason Newgarden, he's from Nashville.
Yeah.
And he's been letting me in on some stuff. We're pretty good friends, and yeah, he said the place is bumping, the place is excited for it, but it's going to be hot, so we're ready for that.
Yeah, so how cool is that track? You mentioned going over the bridge. Like the first time you ramped it up and went over that bridge, like what are you seeing? What are you feeling?
Yeah, they actually had the ground part of the bridge because it was so bumpy for our cars. So we initially it was like, wow, this is pretty hard on the old back, the back was a bit sore. And,
hey, that's Nashville driving, man.
Yeah.
You're lucky you didn't hit a pothole.
The potholes were fine, but it was just a few bumps. But once I sorted that out, it was awesome. I've never been over a bridge before in my racing career, and that was pretty awesome. Such a point of difference. And then obviously going around the stadium, like we're literally pitting in the car park or in the car park lot of the Titan Stadium. It's a pretty awesome place. And then on top of that, you go back to the hotel or whatever, the bus, and you just feel the vibe of the city and Broadway, and it's just, there's nothing like it. And everyone knows the race is going on. That's the best part. And you just feel like a superstar.
So cool.
Scott, I got two weird questions for you. A little personal, if you don't mind. Are you single?
No, I'm married.
So does your accent get you out of trouble, or is she from New Zealand?
So my wife's actually from America, and when I first met her, man, I was the most Australian Kiwi guy you've ever met in your life. I was talking with a massive accent.
It worked, didn't it? That's winning right there, baby.
It did work, but now she's over it.
Second question.
Works.
Second question for you: do your legs fall asleep while you're in that car? Because you're in there for quite a while.
I've had that before. Yeah, you do get like last year at Nashville, the race went for so long. But thankfully, you try and be prepared for that with you have a seat mold basically molded for the shape of your body. And as long as that's basically correct and you haven't got any points that are pushing on the muscles or blocking some blood or whatever, you're normally pretty good. But I've had that before when the seat hasn't been quite right. You've gone numb in your feet or something like that, it's not the greatest feeling at all because you can't feel anything.
And I asked because I saw your big win when you pulled into you jumped out the car and you kind of lost your balance a little bit. His legs might have been asleep.
Yeah, I didn't realize how top heavy it is with the helmet on. So when I did the big jump, I literally fell over. So now all the fans are yelling at me like every time I win a race, I've got to do like a roly-poly because I can't do a front flip. So I've got to look like an idiot and just do a roly-poly. It's funny.
I love it.
And of course, you celebrated your first career win. How? Please tell everybody that didn't see it.
Well, yeah, it's a tradition in Australia and New Zealand now. The winner drinks out of his shoe or her shoe when they win. So I poured champagne or beer into my race boot and drunk out of it, which is it sounds disgusting. It's disgusting, but it's a tradition. And if I bailed out of it, I wouldn't be a very popular man back in the day.
You would never want to bow out of that.
I'm curious, right? Like, what else did you do to celebrate? I'm not talking about right there on the track. Like,
he's talking about the off the Twitter record.
How long did that night go?
Oh no, that was a big night. The first one was I'll never forget that one for sure. You just gotta live the moment. You gotta enjoy the wins because you never know when your next one's gonna be. That's always my theory. So if I win Nashville, I'll be out there in Broadway. That's for sure.
Honky tonkin'.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So Nashville is the bachelorette capital of the world. So be careful. Number one. Number two, we call them the woo girls because they just ride around on these vehicles drinking alcohol, yelling, woo, woo.
Yeah, I know, and I noticed that last year because I pulled up in the rental car next to one driving to the track, and they were yelling at me to honk the horn or something like that. I'm like, no, it's 11 a.m. in the morning. That's right.
That's how we roll around here.
Yeah, it's never too early to party in Nashville. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So,
good for them. Good for them.
back to that first win. What were you feeling as you went across the line?
Oh man, that was just a sense of it's a big risk coming up from Australia. I had a really good job in Australia, really settled, and coming here and basically dropping everything for the unknown, and it was just a relief to cross the line first, and just it was an ultimate goal of mine to be successful here in America, and to have a win so early in my career was really special and something that I'll never forget. So just want more, man, and we'll just keep working on that. And thankfully, we won a couple weeks ago at Ohio, and I'm just on a bit of a roll now, which is hopefully we can keep it going heading into Nashville.
So our guy Slay over there is the one that brought up, do your legs fall asleep? So Slay is 6'8".
Wow.
Yeah, could he even fit in one of these cars?
He probably could fit, but his legs would definitely go to sleep. So it's up to him, really. But that's I don't think I've heard of anyone taller than that. That's for sure.
Could he just stick his legs over the top of the windshield?
Out? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work something out. We might have to push him around and he can drive the car. Just won't be able to pedal it.
I love it. Scott McLaughlin with us talking about the big machine at Music City Grand Prix coming up next weekend. You can get more information and tickets, musiccitygp.com. I'm curious, man, accountant listening to the show that wants to experience that next level of life might go jump out of an airplane. What the hell does an IndyCar driver do?
Well, I'll tell you what, I ain't jumping out of a plane because I'm so afraid of heights. You have no idea. So, I literally on a 6-foot ladder, I'm scared of heights. Isn't that crazy? I can drive 240 miles an hour, but I can't jump out of a plane or whatever. But I think my next, I don't know honestly, trying the first pitch was a pretty good thrill. I actually really enjoyed that. I think that was pretty cool.
That's great.
Hog's just shaking his head, putting more pressure on him.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Also,
no worries.
I've always wondered, so IndyCar driver, you mentioned the rental car. Is it weird when you race, and then you get in a rental car and you drive around like an interstate?
Yeah. Well, it's actually really nice because you just use the cruise control and you don't have to get from A to B that quickly. You just in a race car, all you're worried about is the lap time and braking as late as you can and get on the throttle and whatever. When in a rental car or whatever, you can just drive around like a grandma, and that's what I sort of do. I just drive around, so it's fun.
But hopefully not in the fast lane.
But are you
No.
are you judging other drivers man, you really suck? You should have done this.
I judge a lot.
Yeah.
But the fast lane thing really does get to me. Like you said, that one really frustrates me. If you're not passing,
yeah,
get out of the way.
Slay was camped out in the fast lane one day. Somebody drove up, got right on his butt, went around and shot him a bird.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. That's not a very nice person.
Yeah, we found out who it was. He wrote in and apologized to him.
Do drivers get mad?
No way.
Yeah, he did. Do drivers get mad at each other? Do you get mad at other guys that maybe cut you off going around a turn and then you flip them a bird going by them?
Oh yeah, I actually got flipped the bird on the weekend by one of the drivers. I won't name them, but they were upset with me. So I was like, I made him angry. I won't be getting a Christmas card, but I don't really care. And I'll get mad occasionally with other drivers, but you just get adrenaline and you get angry pretty quickly or stressed out. There's a way of controlling that. You don't want that to over exceed too much because you can do some stupid things in the car. So just got to make sure you're under control. That's for sure.
Love it, man. Hey, great conversation, bro. Good luck coming up next weekend, and we'll be out there cheering you on, bro.
Yep. Thanks, team. I'll see you out there. Appreciate it.
Scott McLaughlin, driver of the number 3 team Penske IndyCar.
He's like my new favorite driver.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Actually,
got one
he's
that
like
lives
my
in
new
town.
favorite person.
I was about to say, did you have a favorite driver before this?
No,
Okay.
but I actually have. I got to ride in an IndyCar at Richmond at RIR with Elio Castroneves. That just shows you how long ago that was. So but I didn't go 240 miles per hour, obviously. So I did get to at least ride in one. So, but he's now my new favorite.
Can you imagine if like you're just rolling? Scott gets in town. He's coming from the airport downtown, whatever he's doing, and you just cut him off on I-40.
No,
Because he's driving like a grandma.
Yeah, he's in cruise control.
He probably got all kind of tricks though, boy. If he get upset,
Can
put a
we
little bony
please
bumper.
squeeze Ron Slay into one of those cars?
Oh my gosh. And Larry Woody,
That'd be good to see.
Longtime writer for the Tennessean, was one of the great storytellers of all time. And he tells this amazing story. And I don't have time to get fully into it, but I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. He was driving, he didn't like to fly, so he would drive to cover all these races. So he's driving back from Daytona and he's on the interstate. And this guy flies up on his butt, just like you were talking about. And he's going crazy. And he's like swerving around. And Woody's like, man, what are you doing? Just go around me. What's going on? Guy bumps him on the interstate in the back. Oh, Woody's
That's dangerous.
Woody's pissed. He's like, what in the hell? What is going on? So this car pulls up next to him. It was Cuckoo Marlin, Sterling Marlin's dad.
Really?
Just bump drafting on the interstate.
On the interstate. Man, that's a dangerous game, boy. That would have. That's scary right there, man.
Yeah,
That's a roller coaster.
Scary.
It's scary that we
Hey,
have
don't
another
go
segment.
slow in the passing lane.
Ever.
Man, I was going 85.
I wasn't talking about you. You're so sensitive.
I am.
I got flicked off
Feel like you're
on
talking to me,
Friday.
Jackson.
I was going 89 in the passing lane
Frank?
and got flicked off.
Watch it.
Wow.
Flipped.
Same thing.
Why are you going 89? I mean, what's
That's
it like? You're just trying to stay under 90? Maybe you won't get a
I was trying to
ticket.
go back to 1955, man. I was just trying to get over 88 miles per hour.
More 3 till next. Outland Trophy watch list, preseason All SEC, preseason All American. You keep up with all that stuff at all?
My mom does.
Yeah.
I try not to. I try to stay away from it.
I love it. 10-win season last year. Obviously, that was the second one since 1971, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Blocking for Matt Corral. How difficult was that? Because that guy was like, we were both at the Tennessee Ole Miss game, and I was sitting behind the Ole Miss bench and just watching him manipulate through plays and extend plays. Were there times where you were blocking and you thought the play's dead, but he's still behind you, and here he comes? And I mean, was that tough?
In a way, yeah, because like you said, you could kind of make things happen that, a lot of people didn't see, even us on the offensive line. But, there's a fun aspect to that. It kind of gives you a little more confidence that you can be a little more aggressive knowing that, he can make something happen with his legs.
Who's your quarterback going to be?
Me.
You were ready for that one,
yes,
weren't
I'm
you?
playing quarterback.
No, but
I mean, emergency quarterback.
hey, that's always a thing,
I can
right?
spin it.
From what I hear, you were quite athletic, which I know Slay's going to get into. But before that, how different is it with the two quarterbacks, and what does each kind of bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, it's just kind of a different experience for us, just because we were so set on Matt Corral was our guy. And it was pretty obvious. He ran the team and he ran the offense, but they both are a little different how they do things. Both great at what they do, though. We're in a really fortunate spot. We might have a quarterback battle going into the season, but they're both really two great options to have.
104.5 The Zone. Scott McLaughlin, man. Babs' new favorite IndyCar driver.
Yeah. That accent just make you want to hear people talk, man.
I mean, she literally texted all of us right when he first started talking.
Yeah.
That accent.
Gotta love it. He was good, man.
Says, I mean, it helped him get his wife, but she's over it.
Yeah, she's done with that. The accent don't do nothing for me no more.
I love it. So the race coming up next weekend, and it's going to be fun. The Zone will be all over that.
I didn't go down there last year, I'm gonna go down there this year though.
You gonna mess around with that thing?
For a little second down there.
MusicCityGP.com is where you go to get more information. BetOnline.ag has all of some of the AFC South lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got like all but 2 of the Titans point spreads.
Okay.
For the season.
Oh, this ought to be good.
So Giants at Titans, and Alan Bell's been all over this one. Titans are favored by 6.5 in the opener. And so AB loves that one. So Titans at Bills in week 2. Bills favored by 7.5. So maybe looking at a 1-1 deal. Raiders at Titans by 2.5. That's for home field. So favored in that one. Where are we? Titans at Colts by 4. I've got all of these added up, like how many games the Titans are favored in and all that stuff I'll hit you with at the end. But Titans at Washington, Titans a 1-point favorite on the road.
So that's going to be a surprising Washington team this year, I think, too.
You think so?
Yep. Getting Chase Young back if he's back healthy.
McLaurin?
Yeah.
Colts at Titans by 1.5. So a little bit less than home field.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a rival game.
Might be a good line to take now. 1.5.
You are right about that.
Titans at Texans by 5. Well, I've got the Texans numbers too. At the end of this, how many games are the Texans favored in? Ooh. Titans at Chiefs by 8. Broncos at Titans by 1. Titans at Packers by 6. Bengals at Titans by 2.5. Just kind of going back and forth now based on home and away. There you go. Titans at Eagles, bless you.
Thank you.
Eagles by 1.5. The A.J. Brown game.
Mm-hmm. At Philly?
Yeah, at Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be a quarterback change by then?
Hey.
Maybe.
For Philly?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want, hey.
Hey, man.
RT,
listen.
don't get nervous driving around town.
I'm just saying, my bad.
Jags at Titans by 9. Titans at Chargers by 4.5. Texans at Titans by 9. So there are no lines for weeks 17 and 18. The Titans are favored in 9 of the 15 games that are out there. So 9 and 6 in those 15. The Colts are favored in 8 of their games. So 1 fewer than the Titans, 8 and 7 for them. Jags, they're favored in 2 games. 2.
That's all.
Yeah. Both against the Texans because the Texans are favored in 0 games. 0.
Wow.
How much would it suck to be sitting here getting ready to go into a season and your team is favored in 0 games?
That make me go look in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? That won't be the case. We're going to win more than 1 game. Make it happen.
That's a hell of a speech. Listen, fellas.
Y'all gotta go fight for your right.
It's a party.
Yeah, that's going to be tough, man.
After that one win.
Davis Mills, man, I thought he looked all right.
Well, I mean, Cosell doesn't dislike him when he talks about him on tape.
And they got a lot of receivers, a lot of running backs.
They have a lot of running backs.
Yeah, so
they're gonna run the wishbone.
They said that old line is terrible, though.
Well,
that's what it is.
It's tough to get a whole lot done in that league.
You
You don't have an O-line.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that the NFL does better than anybody is offer hope.
Yeah,
and they ain't got no hope, man. They're like, damn, when the Astros play again.
This over. Might as well not even come out here.
Maybe the Texans can come up with a bang the trash can scheme, win like 5 games. Pass.
That would work, yeah. Here come.
They're not even favored against the Jags.
That's tough.
After the Jags come off that dumpster fire of a year last year.
I guess they saying we got a bigger dumpster and a bigger fire over here.
I mean, easiest way to the postseason is win your division.
Yeah.
At least on paper, the Titans have two teams that aren't expected to do anything.
By the way,
Win a
also
game.
as a part of this this message, the Grizz 12th in NBA title favorites at 14-1. There's some value there, if you ask me. 7th in the West. 7th. You got the Lakers up there. Russell Westbrook back.
It'll be better than that.
Why are you looking past me? That makes
There's
me
like
nervous.
a whole family coming in.
There's a bunch of hunkapillars
Baby
behind you.
hunk.
Oh, it's a bunch of
Baby hunk.
hunkapillars.
My boy.
Ollie ain't got no roof.
The funny
Look at
thing
him.
about-
He's so excited.
Yeah, he ready.
He is pumped.
The funny thing about Slay screaming is that we're in a soundproof studio. That people can still hear him. Oh, you ain't lying. There's a bunch of hunkapillars.
Yeah,
around
it's his
here.
whole fam.
The Hunk Show.
Okay. Oh, I wonder, how's the pressure for that now? Your whole family's here.
Yeah, this is actually going to be my dad's first time seeing me throw the first pitch. It's going to be my son's second because he saw me when he was probably like 3 months old.
So
But,
your dad used to be really proud of you when you played baseball.
Yeah, used to be, and then he's gonna see this tonight, and it could all go downhill from there.
Oh boy.
You know, you can pull like a dad of the year moment here and let Ollie do it.
Okay, I've already thought about that card. I've
See
got
it?
that card in my back
See?
pocket just in case.
I would have went with that. Ollie just roll it.
We're either going to go with him and I throwing the first pitch at the same time, or he's going to throw it for me. So it's going to be one of those two.
I don't know, man. These sounds guys, they like for you to have a plan. So
Yeah. So it's going to be one of those two plans.
they're not like us and go off script. Like,
Yeah, I know.
What script?
They don't like how we like to go off script.
Ain't no script.
By the way, my wife says she'll still love me if I throw a strike. Just letting you know.
If you go a
If you
strike?
throw a strike?
I hope
Yeah,
so.
only if I throw a strike.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Hey, listen, that's
Yeah.
see, it's for relationships like this the reason I set the bar so low. I want people to prosper. I want relationships to prosper. I want all forward progression going on. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't no steps back. I already set the bar back. Well, you ain't got to step back.
Sounds like you're talking about Tennessee football.
Like, oh, man. I know we don't have time, but Eli Drinkowitz
Yeah. Thank you, Drink.
propped up some more
Thank you, Drink.
bulletin board material.
Mhm.
Do we have time for that 37 seconds?
Thank you, Drink.
Yes, hit it. Let's listen to it on the way
Jim
out.
Rome show, Eli Drinkwitz just napalming Tennessee.
I thought you were going to introduce my record, but with the latest allegations against Tennessee, let's hold up on what my record is because I expected to vacate some wins, and that's going to help my record a little bit. Me personally, I question my wife's commitment to winning. You know, I mean, I don't know how much she's committed if she's not engaging in some of these things. I didn't know that was fair play. So, we got to, it was a little bit surprising to see the in-depth nature of what was going on there. But I am sure glad that Tennessee was taking some ownership of it, and we'll see what the results are. But it's pretty interesting for sure.
Thanks,
I
Drake.
mean, I thought it was funny.
Thanks.
I mean, that guy right there, baby.
I told y'all
He's something
he's
else.
got swagger. If they start winning,
Look out.
go watch the heck out because he gonna be talking.
Yeah, because he's saying all this crap. They ain't winning nothing.
We're gonna beat them
Yeah.
by 28 when they
You
come
want
to
me?
Rocket Top.
I'll see if I'll get him on next week.
Yeah, bring them so I can tell them we're gonna beat them by more than 28.
And drink will own you.
Yeah,
Slay.
bring them. I'll be in rare form. I'll be fried turkey on him.
After party's next.
Honk.
Sup.
Don't screw it up.
Get it up.
Don't suck.
The baseball guy throwing a strike.
See ya.